Well, King Kong Poppy really just playing with fire. He's in.
You got this.
In the wall.
He's got it. He's back.
He is able to.
He's back. There's a couple players in the back, but it's Forgotten slicing and dicing through the Hornets roster. Managed to pick up 4 throughout all of that. A star Genji player, nonetheless. Shenandoah was responsible for a full 5 fight to happen once again, and that will be the first, likely coordinated by Sacred and himself, to absolutely break the ankles of Fisher College. Now you're on the objective exactly where Shenandoah want to be. Fisher College now to absolutely break the ankles of Fisher College. Now you're on the objective exactly of 10. Getting this percentage on the board, though, is pretty decent. They lost a fight, but still got so much value from it.
Yeah, being able to get that cap is crucial for Shenandoah.
Oh, the push on forwards, a risky play nonetheless. One that will gain a lot of value. College's 4.
Yeah, this fight is going to be pivotal for this map here. All 5 ultimates going to be available for Shenandoah on this next push. 75% on the point for Fisher College. Only
Riptire from downtown. Forgotten saw the teleporter. It's like, oh, this is my time to strike. Shenandoah blown to bits.
Shenandoah on this next push. 75% on the point for Fisher College. Only
Riptire from downtown. Forgotten saw the teleport down into play. Too much health though for Fisher. They'll be staying up and healthy and claiming the second and final point that we'll see on Lijiang.
And turning that fight, and it looks like it will.
The teleporter. Oh, that's genius. I didn't even see that. Okay, you can't be mad. Rolling out with this Sigma double flex support and the snipers. Oh, Voidex! The jump shot out. Absolutely no value whatsoever. Shenandoah cleared in house as the payload has it easily. Truly a treat to see these players back up on the map, taking advantage of Fisher's incredibly split style of play. They're even committing the Kitsune Rush to an attempt to keep Avani on his feet, which while it's working temporarily, how long will that last? Fisher College have slowly been gaining players back as the time has gone on. Shenandoah haven't closed it out, but if Sacred can find a way to get to the payload, Ben is solo pushing it on his own, and that's perfectly fine. The players might be gone, but the point is capped.
Yeah, Ben getting that cap there is huge. Ultimates were popped across the board there for Fisher. Solari
increasingly challenging to complete. They do expect that where Avani is stunned up, can imagine land the anti? No, that's a massive combo. This is surely to be a death sentence for Shenandoah. They're in their own spawn. They need to preserve the resources that they have. One more fight is on the cards. The 2 picks Ben darn crazy in this match. Fisher College, it took a lot for them to have Pylon out too. So Shenandoah basically sticking to their guns. Sacred End had one heck of a round coming on up. The amount of first picks and final blows we saw from him, he was getting plenty of kills, but most often the important ones to kick off engagements. Fisher making some swap-offs of themselves. The biggest thing I want to highlight, Unread on the Mercy, likely giving a pocket to Love, making them even more of a threat.
Yeah, and we're actually going to see swap-offs now. It's Genji Love is now going on to the Widowmaker and is able to find a quick pick there against Voidex right out of the gate. Avani on the Zarya now. And really with the first pick there in favor of Fisher, Shenandoah needs to back up a little bit. Time, but a huge rock to the face from Ben. Forgotten goes down.
I think Forgotten forgot that Sigma throws rocks, and guess what? Genji cannot deflect those rocks, and hey, you're gonna get punished for it. Fisher made some swaps. Shenandoah, they can't play close to this comp. You can see Ben struggling against the beam of Zarya. So this is going to be a quick and fast reset here. Fisher made some really nice changes to their composition, knowing what Shenandoah... Okay, Forgotten, you gotta stop doing that. Look at them. They ate another boulder to the face, and 4 that they had to use in order to stabilize, but Fisher College conserved...
on lock right now.
Plenty of room for them to continue to recover, and if they can keep punishing individuals like this, I mean, that's come on through. Shenandoah, they need to get themselves on the payload though, and they just can't. Too much happened too quickly, and they were overwhelmed at the end of the day. Ben anticipated based on Lijiang Power.
Yeah, I mean, Shenandoah's change-ups there were very positive. They looked very close there with Fisher, just unable to get to that last point, to get that touch.
In which his Love shut it all down with 4 final blows in that fight.
Yeah, they are able to get on top of Forgotten. The Genji will drop, but Love is unscathed.
Much longer, the Sojourn player of Fisher is proving to be a real thorn in the side.
Yeah, Love is able to stunt that push from Shenandoah University. The Kitsune is huge. Your ultimate was huge for them, and now they're on the aggressive. The ultimate of their own will come through. But
beautiful.
Unread is already down. That's a huge pick there. However, Sacred End will fall in response. King Kong Poppy will be able to chase down the Kitsune Rush again. 91% on that one. And really, on the side of Fisher, all they have is a Kitsune Rush. Nothing really. And
beautiful pickoff coming from them. I mean, it's an immediate spot off, and you take out the most important player from Fisher College. Here we go. They were relying on that Kitsune Rush for an engaged play. That one, yeah, the Hornets are going to close it out. All they need is that Kitsune Rush. Love is still a threat, popping out this overclock. Oh, it's a terrifying thing to look at. Sound barrier helping them push up a little bit further. Ben, you can see him working through all of these objectives. Even the Graviton Surgeon not coming out. Vonnie finds 0 value out of that. Thing out is going right for Shenandoah University. Grab.
Trying to make something happen.
He's got the grab. There it goes. Out on the field. It's on to 2 players. The Kitsune Rush getting no value. There's nowhere for Fisher to move when you're locked up in the wells of gravity. To come in that Shenandoah initially anticipated, chunking them through that damage, getting the first cap on.
Like you said, the cooldown reduction sped up. Really able to regain and recontest Shenandoah in that push.
Going the direction of Fisher to end the first match of the NACE Super.
Last map on the platform, able to find fast rotations, and Love and Forgotten just unreal on their character picks today.
Love and Forgotten are a DPS duo to be reckoned with. Every single player on the field.
It's really hard to take back on the side of Kentucky.
Yeah, and of course, double trophies being put up in on the point. Toxic, who doesn't see them behind. They don't see Toxic! Oh no! A fairly hard point to contest.
Yeah, we'll see Moss again.
Finds him. Not able to quite get him. Moss is there to clean it up. Moss playing ring around the rosy right now. Chasing after him. Gets 2 with them.
But down almost 150 points. It's going to be really
onto that P1 because they know it's so hard to hold for a long. Toxic picks up a gun, trying to just do as much as
either side. And as I say that, 2 are taking down
Skid Row, and Relic picking up 3 kills in that last. It's actually massive down numbers in favor of Shenandoah. Relic picking up and ready to strike like vipers.
Yeah, and we can see just those early picks are coming in. Tubby is in a bad position there. He can recognize
though, and not a single teammate falling in. Just 1 away from that cruise missile, and he gets it. So he gets
7-1 now on this map, and
he's going. Toxic cleaning up with the last kill again. Finds the last player.
Gotta get to 6. Shenandoah needs to take 2 wins here to be able to close this one out, and really momentum.
So no cruise missile going to come out in this round. Toxic finds 1, can't quite find
of instances here, able to turn it back. Verdi almost able to come in and clutch.
Yeah, definitely gonna be something to keep an eye on, and Moss does end up getting. That is absolutely massive pickup right there for Moss. Now Shenandoah 1 round away from securing map number 2.
Yeah, Moss.
But Moss is gonna fall to now Relic in a 3v1 scenario. Finds 1, can't quite
find. 1 round away for Shenandoah to take map 2 and get a 2-0 lead in this series here, but Kentucky not going down.
And just rather unfortunate. Relic gonna get taken out as well. However, now Mossman and Verdi, the last 2 for Shenandoah. Verdi winning that was still half HP. I thought he was a little lower than that. Moss is gonna clean things up.
Mossman and Verdi, they're really coming in clutch in that last round there. Mossman from a distance able to just laser.
Can get something going, but they're playing right into the hands of Shenandoah. Verdi would
let Kentucky really get into a rhythm. Shenandoah put on the gas. The aggression was there. Relic and Toxic, of course, going crazy.
Now for Shenandoah, and then Verdi and Toxic also positive. Moss is going to open things up to the map from that angle. Tubby trying to wrestle control, but Relic really is absolutely massive.
Yeah, and Relic not slowing down now. 8-2 for Relic. Mossman still holding that angle, I believe, matchup. Kentucky finding good kills, finding good avenues, but not able to capitalize on them.
Enough right there. Moss, though, on the flank around, trying to find a pick. Finds 1 ace point. Let's see if they can get it. Toxic's just in the spawn right now.
Yeah, Toxic playing out of his mind. Almost 2 double digits, 1 away from
able to leave their spawn right now. Relic locking it down at 20 kills.
does find the guy planting the bomb. Parlays it into his second. 1v3 looking for the clutch, looking for the last two. He's gonna find one. Another one walks in with Ross.
Absolutely a must-make because of the ease
And
of them.
easy what? The rest of his team is slowly collapsing. The Sombra is the last one.
Oh,
and then Voidex with the clutch.
Ella gonna get the Nair, starting out the Nair train. Boy cannot get out of it. What are we gonna see? The forward air, then down air!
Taking some form of space outside the spawn door, but Dragon Blade's gonna look to take it right back with a huge shatter. Oh my god! Another pick! Another pick! Oh, he just keeps going and the pick bang!
Hard point in the hand of the other team. Toxic tried to find one, finds a second. Does he get the 30?
Finishes off with the pistol!
The entire team in front of him, and he's gonna find
falling like
four!
dominoes.
The ace, actually!
Push all day corner, and Gingy staying deep instead of going defensive like usual.
Oh my god, kickoff probably with a 4-piece!
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Shenandoah Esports Arena here in Winchester, Virginia. We are here once again to bring you yet another season, another semester of collegiate Smash Bros. Entertainment. My name is Chris Clayton, and I'm joined here on the desk by my own personal Smash Bros. Expert and coincidentally my brother, Kevin Clayton. Kevin, how you feeling?
Oh, Chris, I'm feeling so good. It's so good to be on the desk with you. Yeah, look at
We don't get to do this very often.
Yeah, right.
So this is a pleasure to be here as your Smash Bros. Commentators. We've got a bit of an exciting semester coming up
Yes.
as we've had some changes, and we'll get into that later. But yeah, tonight is our opening night against Eastern Tennessee State University.
Yeah, buddy.
And we will be getting into that relatively soon. But let's take a look at, well, all right. Yep, there you go. Yes, that's their logo and our logo. Kevin, do you want to talk to us about some of our players? What's different about this year?
Yeah, so going into this semester, the current roster we have going is a lot of familiar faces that you would have seen last semester and a couple of semesters before. However, with some priority changes, the game plan has shifted. You took the puzzle, you shattered it, and said, hey, what can we do to reorganize and then suddenly make something real special? So going in, we have Igloo, the Yoshi Master. We got Kip, the Pack God. We got Alex Nimstafa, the Wolf. And we got AJ, who's going to be a face that we've seen a couple of times, but is really going to be showing a lot of momentum here tonight with his legendary Falco and occasionally Pika. So we got good stuff.
Yeah, that's very exciting. And you've done plenty of Smash Bros. Streams here. I've done my own handful of Smash streams here. And every time I'm on the desk, I like to talk about how deep our roster has been historically, right? We've had, even just last semester, we had two of the same players in Igloo and Kip, but we also had Moonlady and Willie. But occasionally, you would see some subs come in depending on matchups and stuff, and while we had our starting four, you could always be very confident in those backup reserve players, and that was usually AJ and Nimstafa. But when they came out, they performed, right? When the lights came on, they played great. So now they have an opportunity to start again. We have Nimstafa and AJ moving up as starting players, and we'll see how that goes, but I sure feel confident in them.
Yeah, which brings up another point and a really big impact for what's going on here. Right behind us, if you take a look, the Smash players are right here. They're getting set up as we speak. Yeah, see, look at that. That's our guy. With all of that being said, it's going to add a whole other aspect to this game, because for those of you who don't know, in the arena, ordinarily there's sound for the broadcasts, and you would be able to hear what we say just on a slight delay. Well, now suddenly as the moment someone makes a hit, the moment someone gets punched in the face, we're going to be reacting to it, which adds a whole other different element, a whole other thing that you really have to adjust and get ready for. And I'm kind of excited to see it. I'm hoping that we get some crazy pop-offs tonight where it's coming in through our mics. That's what I want. It'll be so good if that happens.
That would be very fun. That is not even something I had considered, but that's a great point. And plus, I mean, you can probably notice on our screen, they can see us, see their own gameplay up there. We're having a little too much fun with this, but it's a brand new semester here at Shenandoah. You know, all these broadcasts are put on by students, and we like to change things up too, just like our players. So,
yeah,
very excited for how this broadcast is going to go, how our matchup's going to go. Now, let's get into it, right? Yep. Shenandoah University against Eastern Tennessee State University. What players, let's start with our own guys, because we kind of touched on that already.
Right.
But who are you looking forward to seeing? What are you expecting to see?
Okay, so I'm really excited to see AJ come into this because we've been seeing a lot of warm-up, and AJ looked like he had a very solid game plan going into his games, as well as it started to click. Like, there were a lot of things that I was on the team with him before, and I'm so happy to see that he's been improving more and more as a player. So I want to see more of him tonight. But also the other big player that I've been seeing is a lot of Mustafa. And there are some things that never change. When you're playing against Mustafa, you do not have the chance to breathe. His pressure game is insane. He knows exactly what he wants. He always has this keen eye on, if I'm going to take a stock, it's going to be in my way, usually ending it with a forward smash or at the down smash, and catching people off guard, maybe with an early air dodge or something. But frankly, that's what I'm ready for. I'm ready for a couple of hard callouts from Mustafa, who plays this very patient sort of wait out, see what your opponent's game plan is, and then immediately, no holds bar, punish him for it. It's going to be so much fun.
That's exciting. Yeah, we definitely have a special duo between the, what's it called, Star Fox? What's that series called?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. The Star Fox guys,
the
Falco and Wolf. Tag teaming in and out. But then you also mentioned Igloo and Kip, right? We have Pac-Man and Yoshi, not in that order. Igloo on Yoshi and Kip on Pac-Man. And these players we've had the pleasure, and I very deliberately use the word pleasure, of watching them play last semester and last year, right? These players are freaks on their respective characters. So do you want to talk to us a little bit about that too?
I mean, by all means, because let's be honest, Yoshi's the kind of character who for the longest time I heard very little about. He kind of just flew under the radar, and you could say the name, I'm like, oh yeah, everyone's favorite dinosaur, and you leave it at that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to getting more into Smash Bros. Meta, and then it starts to evolve more and more, and then suddenly I get the chance to meet a Yoshi player who's very good at what he does.
Mm-hmm.
It is a whole other beast, and then more ideas start popping in your head, like, how do you answer this dino? What do you do? And so seeing Igloo really begin to perform has been great to see, but on the other side of that coin, the pack god. Kip has come into crew battles at SU and has sweeped entire crews off of just playing to his game plan. He has setups on setups on setups, all in the back of his mind saying, I know what I want. I'm going to create the space to do it. It's going to be on you. Do you think you know your way in to punish my game plans? Or beyond that, are you just going to have a rough time with your resident pack player?
Man, I mean, how overwhelming is that?
Yeah.
Like, that's so much fun, and I obviously am very excited to see that too. We'll get into it soon. But now let's talk about the other roster, right? The opponents across the line, Eastern Tennessee State. Now, we don't know much about this team. We can only do so much research, right? Collegiate esports don't offer a ton in the way of scouting. You have to do a lot of your own work, and we certainly did what we could. But we do know, and we feel pretty confident, that they have a Shoto player.
Yes.
Who is that? Do we know what characters they play?
We've got word of a Ken and Kazuya player. Now, generally, when you play a fighting game character, a traditional fighting game character, it is normal for you to pick up more than one of them. because a lot of their mechanics are very similar where it comes to special cancels and doing crazy combo strings and all of that. So you got Ken, who is a very get close, hard punish, string you across the stage, excuse me. But when it comes to Kazuya is the character of discussion on everybody's mind and has been for a while because the character is so incredibly glass cannon-y, except for the fact that the glass is not as fragile as we originally thought.
I was going to say, what's the most sturdy glass you can think of?
Yeah. Like, the character has so much going for them that if you don't have a game plan going in, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Luckily, the roster behind us has a lot of experience against that, and because of that, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the Ken over the Kazuya.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, that's very interesting. And we used to have a Shoto player, right, in Willie, who is not competing on the team this semester. But that adds an interesting dynamic, right? We used to, anytime we would play against a Shoto, and by we, I mean our Smash Bros. Roster, anytime we were up against a player who we knew played Shotos, we'd put on our own Shoto, right? So now we're missing that presence, and I don't know if that's good or bad, right? It felt like Willie usually got the upper hand in a lot of these Shoto matchups, and maybe I'm a little biased, but you know, do you think we're going to be feeling that today? Like, is the Shoto on Shoto matchup one that is preferable, or is it truly just skill?
In my mind, it's a skill matchup, but as we go into this game, it will depend on the comfortability of the players. Again, I do think our players are very comfortable in that, so hopefully when that time comes, we will see a little bit more of what they have to offer against this matchup. But for now, we got a different matchup going on. We have Kip on the Pac-Man versus the first character of ETSU, Shulk.
Yes, Shulk. In fact, not a Shoto character like we were talking about, but that's quite all right. So, a sortie against a Pac-Man, right? Pac-Man has a lot of projectiles. How do you feel about that? Like, you know, sorties have this weird range. Do you think Pac-Man can survive in this matchup?
I do. I think it's going to be a matter of playing it patient. Oh, no. Well. Oh, okay. This is a very strong start for the side of SU because when it comes to Shulk's recovery, you go one way and you can stall a little bit more with the second part of the up B, but when Pac-Man Water just pushes you a little out of the way, you're not going to be able to re-grab that ledge, which means that SU has taken the first stock of this crew battle for this semester, and we are off to a great start.
Yeah, certainly an unfortunate way to start if you are ETSU, but not the end of the world either, as now Pac-Man finds himself in an uncomfortable situation. He will be able to recover, but instantly gets killed, and suddenly this series is tied.
Yes. Now, I did like what Kip was doing there. Kip was staying off stage to try and stall out the Smash Art to really get as much value as he can. He failed the tech. He's off stage, but is able to survive as now the Galaga comes out. Shulk is at 90% and is now in the ledge, but with that, you do see, look at this advantage state coming out of Kip. Kip has so much pressure that he's able to apply, and because of that, we're seeing the percentage already beginning to rack up. But the Shulk player trying to call out the landing with a grab, unable to get it, gets back to the ledge, but Kip has a bell in his hand, and if you're playing against Pac-Man, there are certain things you just don't want to get hit by, and the bell being one of them.
Man, that felt dangerous, and you mentioned it before we even started, right? Some of these setups are so dangerous, and we seem to see a new one every game, right? We'll see if we get another one, and potentially a follow-up, as there it is. He will connect the bell and lead it straight into an up smash and confirm an easy kill, and just like that, I said this game was even. Shenandoah finds himself almost a full stock up.
Yes, and now Shulk again feeling the pressure. Doesn't have the Buster Art, which increases his day. It happened again. Chris, it happened again.
Oh, no. Wow, a tragic start and finish for the first player of Eastern Tennessee State.
Oh, no.
Man, okay, so the Fire Hydrant taking more stocks than I think we ever could have expected.
Yes.
Kevin? What just happened?
So when it comes to Shulk, you have your recovery, it goes up, and it doesn't curve much out like you would see with some of the other sword characters. And a lot of Shulk players like to switch to their special Monado, which enhances their jump ability. Generally, you snap onto the ledge when you do that. It takes a second, but when you do, you snap on, usually you're not punished, and that's all fine and good. However, as Shulk is rising up, he doesn't snap to the ledge right away, and suddenly the water just says, I don't deal any damage, but I'm just gonna push you away from the ledge and see what happens. And suddenly there are 2 stocks going down on the side of Eastern Tennessee.
Wow. I mean, that's heartbreaking, right? Because it feels like stocks like stolen almost, right? It's,
right.
Those are low percentage, just almost accidental, like cheesy ways to lose your stocks. But at this point, you got to get over that.
Right, exactly. I mean, that falls into the category, flip through my notes, of we take those. So with all of that being said, I do also want to acknowledge that the crew battle format is a very unique one for Smash Bros. Stocks in this format are treasure. They're gold because you have your 3 going in, and that is it. When you are in a tournament setting, you have multiple games to adapt to your opponent. You have multiple opportunities to punish their game plan, and it's a lot of adaptation back and forth. The problem on the other side of that coin when it comes to a crew battle, again, when you have these 3 stocks, you almost need to go in with whatever your plan is and then begin to formulate from there. If you're able to adapt, by all means, but if your game plan is working, you have to stick with it. And so when you're losing stocks like that, it becomes so detrimental, and suddenly you're also losing a lot of information. Right now, Eastern Tennessee has to send in another player, and that player, while seeing the Pac-Man, has only seen a couple of these setups, which again, we've talked about. Kip's setups are dozens by the dozen because he just loves this game and learns how to continue adapting and improvising and really keeping up the pressure.
Yeah, and we'll see if we get any more, but I mean, you make a great point, right? This next player is going to have to come in not knowing much, right? That unfortunately did not reveal a ton for Eastern Tennessee State. But I'd be curious to hear, right? We, from our research, got a pretty loose character pool. We talked about the Shoto. We also heard a potential Lucas player, a potential Bowser Jr. player, a potential Mario player. They might be the same player, but like, you know, if you're ETSU, what do you send against a Pac-Man? Because all you really know is that it's a Pac-Man.
Right, and you touched on this early, which is swords. Mm-hmm. Swords have, exactly as Chris said, a good amount of space coverage when it comes to Pac-Man, and when you're not always certain on what someone is going to do, it never hurts to just cover as much space as you can.
Yeah.
So with that, I wouldn't be surprised, one of the characters that we did not mention was there's this Aegis player. They play Pyramithra. Pyramithra is a very good character in Super Smash Bros. And it's the kind of character that when you are in that spot of uncertainty, it's a very safe bet to throw in. That is my opinion, though. We could see anything. There are tons of strategies to all of this, and so I'm getting excited for what we have to see coming up.
And that's the beauty of these broadcasts, right? We know our own players, but at the end of the day, all we can really do is guess what the other team is going to do. So we should be getting into our next game soon, but I mean, if you're Kip, wow, here we go. Never mind. I was going to say, if you're Kip, what do you feel the need to adjust? Because that went, like, shockingly well.
Yes, I think a lot of it was when Kip was in the disadvantage, while he was able to stall it out, there were a couple of problems when it came to keeping the stock for as long as possible, and part of that is just because of, like, by nature of Shulk. As we move into this game where ETSU sends out a Mario, you go in with a much more solid idea of what the game plan is, because Marios like to do one thing, and they like to send you up as high as they can with as many ladders as possible. As now, we do see Kip starting off pretty strong, but the Galaga sent back into his face, getting a tech situation, Mario playing it patient. And again, critical part to these crew battles, you need to play slow almost. You need to understand what your opponent wants, and then once you understand that, that's where this heavy punish game comes in. As the bell is thrown out, he drops it and then hits him through the shield. Mario is down one more stock as Kip goes off stage to kill a little bit of invincibility time.
And that was gorgeous, right? We talked about these bell setups, and we're going to see so many more, but I mean, a perfect placement, right? Mario is able to shield the first one, but Kip is able to run up and grab it again before Mario can really do much, and finds the stun, connects the kill, and just perfectly played. But an interesting interaction I just thought of too is that Mario has Flood.
Yes.
Which effectively, for those of you at home, acts the same as the Hydrant, which we saw get 2 kills against Shulk last game. Now granted, Pac-Man has a significantly better recovery than Cloud, and so I cannot imagine that a Flood will be able to really cheese this Pac-Man, but...
Right. I do like what we're seeing so far when it comes to Kip playing to the idea of really keeping this Mario at a distance and on their toes, because Mario's projectiles or distance covering options are very few and far between, which means that Mario is the one who does need to approach in this matchup, as we do see there. But when you have a Pac-Man kind of dancing around you, it by all means can you get away with a lot. Oh no, the orange betrayal. Will he be able to make it back? He does. He techs, and Mario doesn't. ETSU losing another stock as Kip is able to bring it back out of nowhere. And suddenly, it is looking real good for the side of SU.
Oh, Mario goes to confirm the kill, right? Pac-Man probably wasn't going to make it back from that, but just to be sure, Mario drops to find the kill. Now we have Kip finding a ladder, but that's heartbreaking, right? These ETSU stocks have been tragic.
Yeah, but at the same time, I do love what Kip has been going through for all of this. Again, he's playing to his strength. He understands what he needs to close this out as he just creates that space. And again, Mario's the one who's feeling the pressure. ETSU is the one down stocks at the moment. You're the one who needs to be gap closing. And at this point, you got a Pac-Man who is okay with all of these fruits at his disposal. As now, while Kip is off stage, we will see a little bit of a stall. Get back on a quick forward air. Mario able to get back onto the main stage, sitting next to the Hydrant. Careful!
Oh my. Yeah, no, I think you put it perfectly, right? Kip is all too comfortable in this situation. Now, watch what we see from this bell. If anything, it is gone, never mind. But no, we will see Mario able to jump up from the ledge and connect the down B into a kill. Kip will drop down to 1 stock remaining, but will make quick work of the final ETSU stock on Mario. And before you know it, it's 10-6.
I'm getting PTSD flashbacks. For those of you who are new to this stream, hi, drop a follow. Second,
Hey!
Kip has cleaned out entire crews before.
Yes.
And it's not like he's done it once. He's done it multiple times because people don't have answers. And again, while I love the crew battle format, believe me I do, because it really shows people's understanding of their characters, again, you don't have much time to adapt. And because of that, suddenly there are 2 people on the side of ETSU who have been knocked out for this first round of the crew battle. It is best of 3, so
Correct.
With that, there will be another chance for them to go against Pac-Man. But at the same time, while you've seen a lot of Pac-Man, do you have an answer for Pac-Man?
That is the question, right? That's the hard part. We've got to watch a lot of gameplay, but I mean, it's on the players, and that's why they're sitting there and we're right here, is because it's on them to find an answer, right, and go out and execute.
Yeah.
So, while it would be fun to watch Kip wipe this whole team, realistically, if you're Kip, if you're Pac-Man with a 1 stock and a dream against 6, you ideally just want to take 1 stock, and if you're playing real well, 2 is great.
Right. In my mind, you need to send a character in who is very explosive in nature. The ability to just go in, take the stock, and not show much.
Like Kazuya?
That could be. I do think that is one of the better options. The only issue that I have is that a lot of people like to save players who are that renowned, who are that level of skill. They like to save it for the back, because at the same time, while Kazuya is incredibly explosive, and I do think he would have a great spot here and now, I also think there's this small thing of Kazuya is able to take stocks rather rhythmically, is how I will put it. It's very, do this, it will pay off, and if my opponent knows, so be it. But with all of that being said, I do think there's the chance that we do see either Kazuya or Ken. Frankly, Ken is incredibly safe and is able to really put up the pressure. But at the same time, I do think you are onto something mentioning the Kazuya, because the other side of having to deal with like saving it for the anchor spot is sending it in for whoever the best player is on the other side.
Yeah.
And if you think it's Pac-Man, get rid of the Pac-Man.
That's a great point. Yeah, and I would love to be a fly on the wall on either of these teams' rooms talking strategy, right? Do we send in our potentially best player to just shut up the noise and like calm everything down, calm everyone in the room down, calm this, like quiet this team down, because they're probably juiced right now.
Oh, we can tell they're juiced.
with how this series has started. But only time will tell. We should know here pretty soon. If you're Shenandoah, right, and we, I certainly hate to assume, but if Shenandoah goes on to win Game 1,
yes,
do you just send in, well, let me think about this. If Kip does not wipe the entire team,
okay,
do you still throw him in first?
I think you do. If someone took 2 stocks off of Kip, I think you wouldn't, because then they have a lot more pressure game. But so far, 2 players on the side of ETSU have sent in and only taken 1 stock off of the Pac-Man each. But now we do see, we were right in this prediction, we see the Ken, another character who is very strong once they're in, and by God, is he keeping up the pressure as we are not even 30 seconds in, and there's 62% on the side of the Pac-Man. He won't die on that one. Shoryuken has a very early, almost like kill screen type deal, where it's a lot of keeping up. Like, you just have to know how to DI it, and thankfully Kip does have the idea for that one, as now we do see Kip with a bit of an advantage state going on here. Focus attack from the Ken to get back onto the stage, and now, while the setup is there, the hydrant's gone, a Galaga, but the punch into the Shoryu, and Pac-Man falls out. This orb not wanting to get hit, another little hit from the side of this Ken.
Oh my lord.
And yet it's not enough. This Ken, I think, is feeling the pressure at the moment because Kip has been dancing with death, throwing the Ken off stage. Ken recovering high, using the focus attack, is able to get back onto the stage. He doesn't have a jump, Chris. I think he's gone.
I think he's dead.
One quick Tatsumaki. He doesn't make it back to the ledge. Kip keeping up the pressure even at 156%. And again, there's the Shoryuken. And now, that's a lot of value.
I mean, that feels great, though. If you're Kip, right, you nailed it, right? Ken, we said the Shoto might come out to just put out the fire, right? Quiet the stadium, silence the fans. But that Ken came out with more aggression than I've seen in a long time, right? He was all the way up in Pac-Man's face for pretty much the entire time, and I think Kip was feeling it. But 1 or 2 missed kill confirms, right? Like, Ken had multiple opportunities to put that away, and I think you got it. Like, maybe it was pressure, maybe it was nerves, I don't know, but the pressure to, like I said, put out the fire, I think got to him, and before you know it, Kip has taken yet another stock number 7.
Yeah, able to guarantee that stock, and again, you may have wanted to silence Shenandoah to really calm things down, but you're feeling good. It is not traditional for someone to take that many stocks in a crew battle.
Not at all.
It happens, and when it happens, you have to give respect to the player who did it.
Yeah.
So with all of that being said, I do think it is going to be on Eastern Tennessee to really sit back and be like, okay, we sent in this superstar. But at the same time, SU's the one who's thinking, who do we respond with? And I have a couple of ideas, but we've got between Falco, Wolf, and Yosh.
So between those 3, right, we know it's Ken. We just watched him play for a whole stock, and it was the most aggressive player we've seen out of the 3 for ETSU.
Yes.
Can I'm going to kind of lead you with this. Can a Falco or a Wolf respond to that?
There's an argument. There's an argument to be made that they can. It's not easy. And when you have the luxury of being able to choose, you definitely can, because both Wolf and Falco want to get close. That is where their combo starters start.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have this, this Ken in your face. And while you have these out of shield options, Ken can also just break your shield on a whim.
That's true.
So in my mind, I think it goes to the third. I think we're going to see Yoshi.
Yeah.
And part of the reason for that is because Yoshi's shield game is pretty good. You don't shield... When Yoshi shields, Yoshi goes into an egg. And when every other character shields, it's like this red bubble, right? You hit the bubble, it gets smaller. Yoshi's egg doesn't get smaller.
Boom.
There he is. Igloo going in. But Yoshi's egg doesn't get smaller, which means that anything that would have shield poked doesn't work on Yoshi. And at the same time, it's going to be a matter of if they land on Yoshi's shield, Yoshi has the opportunity to get away using moves such as Nair and other opportunities. But as we go into this, we do see, again, this Ken player is incredibly aggressive, really beginning to put up the pressure, but Igloo playing it back a little bit, trying to see, okay, this is the game plan that they want right here, and I'm going to try to figure out my idea to really keep this guy on his toes. As of right now, it's a lot of just feeling it out.
Yeah, we've certainly seen Igloo in these situations of, sort of campy, wait out your opponent if you have to, as we do see Igloo lose his first stock. But I'll be curious to see how this Ken feels the need to adjust as we get a double jab reset. But we did just see Ken complete a kill confirm, right, which we saw him struggle with in the last game, right? So maybe those nerves are coming out. We'll see. But Ken finding himself at 100%. Equal stocks in this game, however, Shenandoah a full 3 stocks ahead.
Right, as we do see the Yoshi down air, sending Ken up into the air, using the double jump to get back onto the main part of the stage, trying to call out the roll-in, but is unable to get it. Yoshi able to use his double jump super armor to fall out of these Ken combos, and suddenly it becomes a lot more interesting and makes a lot more sense why SU decided to send in Igloo for this matchup, as he begins controlling the center stage, goes for the up air, and that closes out that stock right there.
Yeah, and that's very smart. And we talked about the roster a little bit before this series started, and Igloo is one of these veteran presence, or one of the veteran presences on the team. So I would not be surprised if this was a moment of, hey, look, I know an interaction, I know that I can get out of these really deadly combos, so just put me in, give me a shot, right? And it seems to be paying off, right? Shenandoah is now 1 stock away from being rid of this very scary Ken player.
Right, and we do see Igloo trying to go for a little bit of a cross-up on these shields with the auto turnaround from the fighting game characters. He was punished on that first interaction, but has so much aerial drift that he really is able to sort of just tap the shield, say, if you let go, you're going to get hit by this, but beyond that, it's going to be me dancing around. Otherwise, if you get too close, you get hit with another one of those Shoryukens. As now, Igloo dancing with the Ken player, goes for the down B, as we do see combos starting to string out. Yoshi doesn't have the double jump, is able to get out of that, and is now, while the percents are even, throwing the Ken off stage, trying to get the forward air, dunk him down into the ground, but now it's going to be a matter of how do you close this out. Both players on both sides thinking, there are so many options, but it's going to be a matter of what will really keep up this pressure. Ken, once again off stage, using the focus attack to recover high and get back. Another long string from the side of the Ken, but doesn't go for anything more. He could have gone for it, but that doesn't add a lot of value.
Wow.
But the Shoryuken will close that out. And now it's starting to even up between Igloo, SU, and ETSU.
Yeah, very well played from that Ken player, and I mean, a great performance from Igloo as well.
Right.
Certainly doing your job in this situation, right? This SU has the advantage. They have bodies to throw away. If this is their best player, which is what we have been led to believe, then taking one stock there is totally fine.
Right.
Yeah, obviously you always want more, but right now your job has changed, and it is to take any stocks off that Ryu.
Yeah.
Or Ken.
And so, yeah, there you go. Street Fighter.
Street Fighter, Shoto, yeah.
But with that, I wouldn't be surprised if we do see we got 2 more characters available to us. We got 2 species. We got Wolf, we got Falco. And so with that, I think you could really go either way. Because on the one hand, you have a character who's very combo heavy, who also plays similar enough to Ken that is like, it's a matter of, can I get my game plan off before he does type of deal. But on the other side of that, you have a character who is very like string it together, but also take stocks very, very early. And I think either way is fine. It's going to be up to the players whether or not they have the idea of like, who is more comfortable. You have the preference in this situation, and that's the nice thing, right? Is once you have that lead, you're really able to say, all right, I think I want this character to go up against it.
Yeah, and on the note of having a lead, we talked a little bit after the first game, and I guess after the second game too. The nature of Smash crew battles, mentality is a big factor here, right? You're kind of in a marathon of you can only control what you can control, and your team has to go and do the rest.
Right.
Now, SU's team didn't have to do much to start this series, right? Kip came out swinging and finds 7 stocks. All of a sudden, this Ken player has taken, what, 4 in a row?
4.
So momentum is starting to build for ETSU.
Right. And as we hop into this next game, we will see AJ's Falco and the game plan that I was talking about originally. The idea that both characters want to really go for their combo game, really string everything together. While Falco will not take stocks as early, they are arguably more guaranteed. It is going to be a matter of really getting close, but then not worrying too much as the combo begins. But Ken with a reversal off of a parry, as now, again, it's going to be a lot of dancing around this Ken, going for the combos, gets a good string to start, knocks the Ken off stage, gets the air dodge, but Ken able to make it back, and already AJ keeping up this pressure. This is exactly what I wanted to see at the start of the day, getting the up air off of the grab, and this is why I have been so happy to see AJ develop as a player over the last couple of years, because we're seeing the fruits of his labor as now he is really keeping up this pressure, keeping the Ken on his toes, as now one good side B goes for the up air, but the focus attack does enable Ken to get back onto the stage, is able to get out of that Ken strangle, but the focus attack does send it, and one good Shoryuken. That is partly due to the fact that Ken is at 138 with the rage. It's the kind of thing where you say that kind of stinks, but you have to shake it off. One strong Ken combo, Falco able to fall out of it, but again, keeping up this pressure, goes for the jab, trying to call out the get up, and that will do it again. Ken back onto the stage, and now it's just going to be a matter of closing it. Tries to go up, but the focus attack coming out once again. Goes for the forward smash, unable to get it, but this string starts to come together. Continues it together, and Ken combos are what we came to see, because that is the powerhouse.
That was incredible.
Yeah.
That was a nearly perfect played series or game by Ken. I mean, wow. We gave a lot of energy to our own player who did that earlier, and I feel the need to give respects where respects are due.
Right.
Very well done. But that one hurts. That one hurts if you're Shenandoah.
Yes, and while it does hurt, I do want to acknowledge that this is like, when you go up against a Ken, this is the kind of thing that you think about, like, this is what I don't want to happen. Like, you get Ken to that high point, and then he starts killing early. But at the same time, it was played incredibly well. I do think both sides have had incredible opportunities. And now, as we hop in with Shenandoah's last player, we will see Mustafa playing Wolf against Ken. How we feel?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, like, we knew this was going to be a series, right? And
yes.
we were very surprised with how this started. But sure enough, I mean, it feels like we blinked and ETSU was in the lead. 4 stocks to 3. Now, you said it, we know who our last player is, and we expect it to be fairly similar to the game we just saw, right? Falco and Wolf are relatively similar characters, not just because they're from the same game, but, you know, Falco a little more combo heavy, Wolf a little more hard hitting, but we'll see. I mean, like, we saw opportunities to close that game out if you were AJ, right? That game started so well, a lot of combos, and we'll see if Mustafa can put together some strings of his own and just take the 1 stock, right? At the end of the day, try to get into a pure 1v1 to close this game out.
Yes. Now, I do want to acknowledge real fast the stage selection for this match, because it's a very the platforms are off to the side. Both players know what they want. They want to string the other person across the stage to the best of their ability, as we do see Ken really trying to fish for these strings to continue going horizontally. But at the same time, I think we're going to see that from Wolf once this hit comes in. But for now, the Ken advantage state is so aggressive that you really do just need to really create that little bit of space and understand what this guy's going for. Falling out of that, this is where we see the grab come out, but then the Shoryu does take that stock, as now the percentages are still looking a little bit even, but the stocks are the most important key to these crew battles. And while SU is down 2, it's only a matter of getting 1 good string, and suddenly things can turn around.
Yeah, and Mustafa just struggling to find his opening, right? Ken is just throwing out hitbox, and that's what this character is so good at. Hitting so fast in a small, you know, little area where you know they have to go, but hitting so many times that they're almost guaranteed to walk into it. Just, we'll see if Mustafa can find his 1, but so far, this Ken player is playing lights out.
Yes, and it's very well played. He calls out the Shoryuken. Mustafa going onto the platform, able to get the grab. It doesn't close out the stock, but it really shows that I do think Mustafa has a plan going into this, and I think we will see the deliverable as 1 Shoryuken. A very strange hitbox on that one, but it is still... We've still got to get...
Yeah, I felt like Wolf got hit by the back shoulder there, but now Ken up at 110% and SU on their last stock. It will find a forward smash to put that game away, and we will go to ETSU's final player with 1 stock remaining.
Yes, so 2 final players, and that is the name of the crew battle game. This is what you expect. This is usually what you want to see. And now this is where we see a little bit of uncertainty. The only person who we truly knew was at ETSU was this Ken player and a Lucas player. Now, will we see that Lucas player today? I don't know, but at the same time, if we do, I do think that there's a good chance for Mustafa to close this out by nature of Lucas's game plan. Lucas plays relatively far back and goes for his options while trying to find an opportunity to start dancing around your opponent's shield. Mustafa, on the other hand, has the tools needed to either reflect or get out of the shield pressure that Lucas is going to have going on. It's going to be a lot of nairs around the shield. It's going to be a couple of back airs and approaching or disengaging with PK fires. But I think if you play this matchup patient, if you sit back for a second and try to feel out what is this guy's game plan, I think you have a good chance of really closing this out. But at the same time, there's the chance that we will not see this player. For those of you who do not know, while 4 players compete in the crew battle, that is not everyone that you can have on your roster. You can have subs, you can have backups, and while it's not like, it's very easy to sub one of those players in and say, we think you have a good chance against this character.
Yeah.
By all means, close us out. And so the name of the game right now is, for SU, it's can we bring this back? Can we close this out? 3 stocks. Don't feel too much pressure. Be excited for what comes next. for the side of ETSU, I would be a little bit more focused on closing this out and thinking a little bit about what the next battle is.
Yeah, and you make a great point, right? Wolf does have these sort of defensive options in his, namely Reflect, but also, you know, he's got his side B, he can blink away should he ever need to. And we do see the Lucas come out, right? This was the other player that we were fairly confident we would see from ETSU. But we'll see. Will Mustafa be able to sort of wait out and get a feel for this Lucas and potentially 3-stock him? Or will ETSU find the first win in this series to go up 1-0 in a best-of-3? Kevin, walk us through it.
Yeah, so I addressed a little bit about what we're going to see shield-wise from the side of both of these characters. Again, Lucas enjoys dancing around the shield whenever he can, but beyond that, he will most likely sit at a distance, trying to throw out the PK fires and really bait out either jumps or the reflector, as now it's going to be a matter of Mustafa looking for these opportunities to get in and use this punish game as the Lucas trying to call out an air dodge down, going for the forward smash, but doesn't get it. And now the Lucas on the ledge, trying to throw out a down air, trying to get his kill confirms. Mustafa getting hit by the down smash and is unable to make it back. But a very good showing from Mustafa because he showed the knowledge needed to go through with this, to go above and beyond once this run back starts.
I would say so. I mean, like, you can't feel bad about how that series went. Again, we knew it would be close. We knew that ETSU is very talented. We obviously know that our roster is very talented.
Yeah.
So we saw moments of glory from both sides. We saw some disappointing moments from both sides. But now it's time to regroup. As you probably see, where are my sides? Our team will take a little reset, as I'm sure ETSU will be doing. But let's talk about what needs to change, right? We talked a little bit about, well, we assumed SU was going to win, and that's probably my fault. I just realized I probably jinxed that, didn't I? We said that Kip might go out first. As we take a look at these replays, this is exactly why. Kip opened this series with, what, 7 stocks? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I mean, talk about bringing it back out of nowhere. Kip's pressure throughout those stocks were immense and incredible. It's going to be a matter of, do we send Kip in first again? Because I think it may be worth to send in someone else and try to bait out the Ken, but at the same time, they may just say, our Ken did spectacular, we'll just send him in and then try to like brute force our way through this next round, because again, it's not over. Like the way I like to put it is you're doing this tightrope act. Like you're playing a very precise game. You're playing to your strengths, you do what you know best, while occasionally throwing in a little bit of flair if you have the opportunity. But the difference between the first and the second go around is that one team loses their safety net. One team is in a do or die situation, and now SU is the one who's going to be feeling the pressure, as we do see. Speaking of, I mean, look at the Ken pressure. That move covers so much space and takes stocks so early.
And it's so fast. Like, it's so hard to punish. As, I mean, like, Ken can kind of throw it out and fall down pretty quickly without much end lag. I mean, like, there is obviously some, right? Every move has some. But, yeah, I mean, like, a great player, great character, great play all around.
So with all of that being said, I am looking forward to seeing what sort of game plan the Smash team has thought up going into the next set of the round, but it's going to be up to them. Right now, we're the ones in the dark. We're the spooked ones.
Yeah, but it's fun to sit here and think about, like, you know, if both of these teams send out their best performing player first.
Right.
We didn't get to see much from that Lucas player. So who knows? Maybe that is very truly their anchor, and that Ken just popped off.
Right.
Could be. Who knows? But the thought of seeing Pac-Man go out first and ETSU say, all right, we're going to match you. We're going to go 7-stock player for 7-stock player, however many they each got.
Right.
And then, yeah, I mean, like, you called it a safety net, right? What do you do if you lose that matchup? That's terrifying to think about.
Yeah, and at the same time, I do think if we go into this, I wouldn't be surprised if we see SU and ETSU. As much as I would love for both of them to just handshake and say, let's just send these players out and just call it there. If I had to bet, they want to save them to answer the other. I think it's going to be on SU to send in someone else first, try to take a couple of stocks, try to, at least if you can, take the 3, and then get that pressure. Start getting ETSU to send in their players so that you have the comfort, once again, of really picking your matchups, who you want to be up against these beasts. And then once they send in the Ken, or on the side of ETSU, once we send in the Pac-Man, that's where those answers come through. I think that's the strategy we will see going forward. But again, it could be anything.
All we can do is speculate. It's interesting for me to sit here and stand here and think about the idea of, okay, we just saw Nibstafa take 1 stock. We saw AJ take 0 stocks. But if you send those players in first against, like, the Cloud, who got 1 stock, right?
It was Shulk.
Yeah, Shulk.
Other sword character. Other big sword boy.
Yeah, Shulk. If we send a Shulk against, or if both teams agree to send, like, a Shulk against either Wolf or Falco, one of those players has to walk away with 3 stocks taken.
Right.
And so, like, in terms of strategy, it's interesting. You know, I've got a bit of a numbers brain. You know this. You're my brother. We grew up together.
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
Can you spread out your stocks? Because you have to take 12 at the end of the day. Can you spread your stocks out by sending or saving your better performing players for later? I don't know. We'll see fairly soon. I'll let you talk about it in a minute, but we are going to take a quick break. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this message from our sponsor, Glitch Energy. Welcome back. Thank you so much to our partners over at Glitch, keeping us energized. Oh, you're going to put on a little show, take a sip.
Yeah. Look at this. Isn't this great?
Yes, they've been great to us, and we certainly encourage you to go buy yourself some Glitch Energy to keep yourself awake at all hours of the day. But, all right. So, before we left, we had a bit of a quandary.
Yes.
Is that a word? Quandary?
It
I
is.
don't even know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to math out, is it worth saving presumably Kip and Igloo, right? The 2 veterans, the 2 players who were starters last semester and all of last year for later, and hoping that ETSU does the same?
In my mind, you want to give as many players the opportunity to play their preferred matchup as possible. And while I do think Kip provided that opportunity, the opposing side, ETSU, Eastern Tennessee, sent in their superstar and made it uncomfortable for the players because of the pressure that they were able to apply. So because of that, it's going to be a matter of how confident are you that they send in Ken first or not. If they send in Ken first, you can either make that call and send in your best, or at the very least the strongest of this crew battle so far. Because then you just have the Clash of Titans and then you leave everything else for everyone else.
Right.
But at the same time, you can send someone else in, try and almost like feel it out. Like, are they really trying to say, we think Ken could just do his own thing and that'll be it? Or are they also feeling the pressure and really trying to say, we shouldn't send him in first because then we can guarantee value later? There's this whole metagame to it. And that is why, again, as much as I was talking about the adaptability of a tournament bracket, there is adaptability in a crew battle.
Yeah.
And it comes through here and now, where you can really start to see the minds of not only the players but the coaches, and really begin to see what is the game plan, who are we sending in, etc.
Yeah, and you raise a great point. You know, we've been talking a lot about players, and like in between games we talked about matchups and stuff, but taking players and performances out, like let's forget that Pac-Man and Ken just took however many stocks they did.
Right.
Ideally, let's go from Shenandoah's perspective. What of the 4 characters we saw from both teams, what matchup is favorable for who?
In my mind, I would want to see potentially I would think Igloo's Yoshi would provide a lot starting, but I don't know if we will see that now. It could just be a matter of, like, it's hard to say. Because on the one hand, you have so much pressure. You have people who are so experienced in their craft that I think it would do a lot for SU. But at the same time, there's this problem of, like, what makes this Ken player uncomfortable? Do we know? It's all over the place.
I mean, like, we kind of started to see the only time we saw Ken uncomfortable seemed to be against Pac-Man, right? We saw, if you remember all the way back to when Ken first came out,
right,
all those missed kill confirms that really led to Pac-Man getting that 1 stock. So maybe it is the Pac-Man. Maybe this whole time we've been talking about just sending in these best players because they're the best players or best performing players, whatever. But maybe that is Shenandoah's answer of like, hey, I felt, if you're Kip, hey, I felt great against that Ken. And if I had 3 stocks, God knows what I could have done.
Right.
So, I don't know. We should be getting into game here fairly soon, and we'll have all the answers we could ever ask for as we will start Game 2 of this best of 3 series. ETSU against Shenandoah University. ETSU taking Game 1. And we'll see if they can take Game 2 and put Shenandoah away, or if Shenandoah will find an answer. And as we see,
it's a button test, ladies and gentlemen.
We got baited.
It's okay.
That's all right. Yeah, but we know our
the
characters. That's certainly not what we expected.
No, but I think it solidifies the mentality of both teams going in, which is both players have these strong players and players who are feeling hot right now. As much as we would love to just let the dog off of the leash and just let them fly, at the same time, it's good to sort of like, when we need you, you will be sent in. Like, we have this insurance. But when both teams have that mentality, this is where we get the interesting stuff. We got Mario versus Wolf, and this matchup is its whole other beast in and of itself.
Yeah, and this is, again, kind of to my point, right? One of these players is going to walk away from this matchup having taken 3 stocks. And just like that, the numbers of this series will be drastically different from last series. Like, already there's a massive shakeup, as we do see we are finally into game, officially this time. I'll say it all again, Game 2, ETSU taking Game 1. We'll see if Shenandoah can find an answer by sending out Nipstafa on this Wolf.
Yes. Now, when it comes to this matchup, there are 2 characters with very similar game plans, but with one key difference. Mario wants to send you up, Wolf wants to send you left or right. And as much as that will help out for Wolf being able to get close, as we do see a Mario combo come out, I was going to mention the stage is Battlefield. You got one more platform a little high up, and because of that, I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a lot of Mario combos really keeping up the pressure on Nimstafa. But at the same time, look at how Nimstafa is creating the space to really play to his game plan.
Yeah, and like, you know, almost equal stocks as we now do see Mario find a bit of a combo, but pretty much both of these players are one combo away from death now. Wolf hits pretty hard, and we will see a back throw not quite connect, but there is the flood that took the water physics that took so many stocks in the first game of the last series. Wolf is able to recover and find himself back in the middle of the stage. And again, both of these players basically one combo away from death. But maybe that combo doesn't have to be a combo. It could be a smash attack. As we see 2 up smashes from Mustafa, find a kill onto Mario, and first stock will be taken by SU once again.
Now, if I'm Mustafa, I'm feeling pretty good, but at the same time, I'm also starting to realize that this Mario is really trying to almost predict what Mustafa's trying to do and acting a little early. We've seen Mustafa go for these double jumps outside of Mario's burst range and really keep up this pressure, as now we're seeing what Mustafa's game is, which is, I am going to get you to throw out your options and I will dance around you to the best of my ability, and by God are we seeing that now.
Yeah, and it's going so well, right? Mario already all the way up to 80% on this second stock. Now finding combos, but if you're Mustafa, you have to feel great, right? So you're staying in these neutral positions, kind of waiting out your opponent, like you said, dancing around as best you can, but finding these connections, right? This Mario's at 100%, and a down smash could have done it, but the Mario is smart and patient and waited it out, and we will see if Mustafa is able to find a confirm, but not quite yet, as Mario will struggle to get back on stage, but will eventually do it.
Yeah, Mario is showing the respect that is needed when you're playing against a Wolf player. He's drifting away while he's off stage. He's not trying to get back onto the stage early. He's prioritizing the ledge, which is what you need to do when you're up against a character that has such a killer back air and is able to close out stocks just like that, as now we do see Mustafa trying to call out the jump, barely misses, but that is what you need at this point. When you're in these sorts of situations, this pressure game is what wins games. Again, calling out another options. It seems like Mustafa has a download, and now it's going to be a matter of how do you close this out. It could be just about anything, as Wolf has so many great options, but if I'm the Mario player, I'm the one feeling the pressure. Once again, off stage, one good dash attack, just the sour spot. Mario's at 170, doing a great job of holding on to the stock. Mustafa, neutral get up back onto the stage. Mario throwing out the back airs. There's the up smash. Goes for the up B on that. The water pushing Mustafa just barely away. And we do see, again, lots of these options that take stocks, but Mario just doing his chip damage game. But one stray fireball will close out that stock again, while the stocks are in ETSU's favor. Just about anything will close out that stock, and suddenly we have a very even game between these two players.
Yeah, man. Stock number 1 felt so SU-sided. Stock number 2 felt pretty ETSU-sided. It started with a pretty heavy lead from Wolf, and Mario found himself all the way up at 200% before he was able to find a kill first. Now we have even percents as Wolf is able to find a couple combos to start this stock. But, I mean, these players are so back and forth. Wolf finding another down throw, not able to string it into anything more, but 66% to 20. I mean, both of these players have to feel great, right? Just a couple combos away from death now for both of these players.
Yeah, both players have adapted to each other, have begun to really understand that while as much as I want to get close, there are certain things that I need to respect, certain things that I cannot be doing, as we do see Mario going for a little bit of a flood charge, but Mustafa returning it in stride, getting him off the stage and connecting the back air, and that will take it, as now SU once again has the lead going into this crew battle, and it's up to ETSU to say, what is next?
Man, that was arguably more exciting to watch than any of the stomps we saw earlier. That was great. Both of those players really, like you said, getting a download on the other player and fully adapting to the other player's playstyle. And that's the beauty of fighting games, right? Yeah. You have to go in with your own confidence, because while this is a team game, you've got nobody but yourself. So. Great performance from both of those players. Great performance to bounce back by Mustafa for how the last series closed, and just a great game all around.
Yes, and what I love about what we just saw, again, any fighting game. I don't care if you're playing Smash Bros. I don't care if you're playing Street Fighter. I don't care if you're playing the new Tekken game. It is a matter of sitting down and getting a understanding of your opponent. Every character plays the same. whether you're playing it in Smash or, frankly, across franchises. You see it. Characters have their own playstyle, their own game plans. Whether you're playing Smash, Overwatch, or League, the abilities are all the same, and you know what to expect. It's the character piloting. That's who you're up against. And because of that, it's on you to really say, what is the mental game? What is your plan? Can I understand it? And do I have an idea of how to really make you sweat and punish what you have going on? That is the name of the game. That is the name of esports.
Amen. This is esports.
Yeah.
Hooray. So, okay. A very exciting start to this series, as we just talked about, but now we have to look forward. Right. And we saw Ken take plenty of stocks with 1 stock remaining. Nipstafa was the one to put that 1 stock away. Well, now would Nipstafa finds himself with 1 stock? If you're ETSU, who do you send out?
Okay. On the one hand, I do think sending out the Ken player is has its place.
Yes.
Where you say, this is the player who, yes, did take one of the Ken stocks, and it would be good if we shut him down now. On the other side of that, do you show that trump card so early? Because then SU has the Pac-Man player in their back pocket, and because of that, going back to what we just saw, that is the reason why taking the first game is so critical in a crew battle, is because now SU's the one who has the priority of saying, I think we're comfortable with this person going in or that person because we like this matchup. We like Spacey's going against this guy, and then Zoner's going against this, and then whatever else in between.
Yeah, and we'll see, right? We did see the Lucas play very well against Wolf to take away the 1 stock remaining that Wolf went into the last game with, but that was pretty close.
Yes, it was.
Nipstafa played that very well, and if you're ETSU, I don't know how confident you can be in that Lucas to just take 1 stock clean, right? I think that's way too risky. So that leaves us with Shulk.
The one player who, while we did see, we don't have a full understanding of their strategies. While we saw them come out of the gate swinging and then unfortunately got a little wet.
Yeah.
But with all of that being
exactly
said,
what happened.
It's a matter of really understanding, can Shulk's strategy, is it the answer to Wolf? I think, again, there are strengths to it. You have a character who has this big sword who covers a lot of space, and it would be on Nipstafa to really dance around Shulk. But we just saw that. We saw that Nipstafa is very aware of how to jump around shield, how to keep up the pressure while at the same time keeping your distance and really dancing around characters' burst ranges. It's, if you send in Shulk, you need to have faith that your Shulk's advantage is killer, like superstar level. I think that I can get advantage once and take your stock. Otherwise, you're going to have to deal with Wolf neutral, and Wolf neutral is a dangerous beast.
You're absolutely right. Another thing I want to talk about is the mental, right?
Yeah.
And we're kind of always talking about mental, but the game 1, set 1, I guess, started pretty tragically for ETSU. Set 2, that was a great game, and either player could have taken that. But we saw both players, both the Pac-Man and the Ken, go on absolute tears when not playing against each other. So if you're ETSU, right, although you lost that, and we cannot stress the significance of winning the first game in a crew battle, but you can't feel too bad, right? Knowing that, I mean, you said it, this roster has not really gotten the opportunity to play against that Shulk for real. That felt just strange and probably out of place. Again, we haven't gotten to
what in the world?
I'm going to stop talking because none of what I was just saying is relevant anymore. We have a King K rule coming out for ETSU.
I have my thoughts.
All right. Well, we got to go.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? So back in my prime, I was a K-Rool player, and I got a lot of experience against Mustafa and his Wolf. This matchup sucks. I have never felt more pressure in my life against this Wolf, and by God, I hope we see it today, because K-Rool's moves, while he has so much armor, is a very laggy character. Even while he has those projectiles, you're like, oh, I can zone out the Wolf player. He has the reflector. He's okay sending it back. He's okay waiting a second for K-Rool to then throw up his shield. So now, I'm very curious what ETSU's game plan is, as K-Rool's sitting on ledge for a little too long and getting down smashed by Mustafa. This is the name of the game. It's an interesting choice. If you're comfortable with it, I understand, but we're seeing the full value of Mustafa Wolf versus Crocodile Rock. And so, with all of that being said, I do think it's going to be, so far, I mean, it's Mustafa favorite, right? Mustafa already took a stock. He's getting that extra credit that you want. You go into these games saying, I need to take my 3, I've done my job type of deal. But at the same time, now you have Mustafa just trying to get more. And when you are able to get more, I think that's where we see characters and players really show what extra they know. Sort of these glass cannon-y approaches, as now K-Rool's the one at ledge again, but he's going to have to react a little faster this time as Mustafa does go for the down smash. K-Rool trying to nair, but Wolf able to act out of it fast enough, goes for the reflector. K-Rool accidentally reversing the cannon, and now Mustafa has the crown. Oh no, it's King Wolf as the reflector sends the crown back off of the stage. K-Rool, no side B, is unable to get it as it spawns off stage. Again, K-Rool the one feeling the pressure on the ledge. Wolf with the roll around, goes for the back throw, but K-Rool is a very big boy, and because of that, he is going to be able to survive that back throw. Goes for that as we do see the crown throw down. Not enough to close it out. We do see a get-up attack from the K-Rool, a down throw from the Mustafa, and K-Rool's at 200, and it's just okay. Tries to call him out, tries to get the jump-up counter, and Mustafa saying, I ain't risking that. I'm going for my grab. You kidding me? But now we do see K-Rool the one with the grab. Tries to go for the down throw, but gets a couple too many pummels as Mustafa gets out of it with his life, as now K-Rool's the one off stage once again. Tries to go for the 2-frame, falls out of the up special, and Mustafa's the one keeping up the pressure. Dancing around the K-Rool again. You can't grab that Wolf Nair, baby. As now it's going to be on Mustafa. One more back air. He's perfectly fine keeping that K-Rool where it is. We've seen these ledge situations, and again, it's extra credit at this point. It is great to see the pressure game that Mustafa has going on. Look at the shield pressure. Mustafa is dancing around this Croc, and this Croc can't do nothing about it. As now, one more reflector sending the cannonball back, and the down smash comes out but does not connect. K-Rool feeling the pressure, gets the forward air, and now he's the one with the ledge advantage and is able to connect the down smash.
Wow.
And that does close it. But if I'm Shenandoah, I'm feeling pretty good. And that matchup played exactly how I expected.
Shout out to you for taking that whole game, by the way. You sounded great.
Sorry.
No, I mean, that was incredible. And you said it from before the game even started, right? Before either player even really landed a hit on the other one. You said that matchup, at least in your own experience, feels awful for freaking K-Rool. So, I mean, super well done by Mustafa to, again, like you said, take extra credit.
And not feel the pressure. Because you can... There are times where you go into a game and you're like, oh, this is like, I do this in my sleep. And then they throw out something that you're not expecting, and then the whole thing becomes a mess. Your mental goes all over the place. But he locked in. He said, what in the world did you try to do to me? What are you doing?
Yeah, and if you're ETSU, you can't help but feel like that was a swing and a miss.
Yes.
And although you walk out ahead, right, that felt like it was going to be a pure 3-stock. Mm-hmm. And although you escape with your life, that's not at all how I'm sure they expected that to go.
Right.
But now the bigger question for me, and there won't really be an answer to this until we see their last player, is was that someone we've already seen?
Ooh, yeah.
Or was that a sub? Either way, that by nature of ETSU putting in that K roll, that means we won't see either a Shulk, Ken, or a Lucas.
Right.
And the assumption, right, the immediate answer would have to be Shulk, right?
Yeah.
The Ken carried way too much weight in the first game, and that Lucas they put in last for a reason. At least that would be how I view it.
Right.
So that's a major thing that, again, we won't unfortunately have an answer to until we're done. But we will see now as Shenandoah will send in their second player to hopefully wipe out this King K rule and see who their third is. But until then, certainly don't want to make any assumptions, as this series has gone so many ways when you least expect it.
And I will say, there's a reoccurring theme when it comes to Spaceys and K rule. While I do think that the matchup becomes a little bit more playable, I do think, on the other hand, that like you're fighting an uphill battle when you play K rule. And so when it comes to really making sure you know what you're doing, which I do think this K rule does. He definitely has, again, his game plan and is able to keep up this pressure. But it's going to be on AJ to just say, oh, are you going to play how most K rules play? Or are you going to play like some like to this strategy I've never seen? Now, what I love about what we just saw, that down B is able to be turned around, and it takes stocks incredibly early. The problem is that you need to be practically on K rule's stomach for it to hit. And while I respect what the K rule went for, oh my goodness, it's a very like I don't know how I feel about it. There's the K rule down smash, rolling back, trying to feel up the pressure a little bit. Does go for the down throw, goes for the up tilt. That will take the stock, and that's, you know, that's the kind of thing you say, all right, whatever. As now AJ going to be the one who has to finish this up. The crown combo coming through, going for the up throw, and the percent starting to rack up. But at the same time, we do see, again, a little bit more and more. There's that pressure game, goes for the back air, and then K rule's going to recover low. That's what all K rules love to do. So with that, ooh, okay. So that's the kind of thing you just have to look out for, and the kind of thing, again, you shake it off, you say, like, all right, whatever, you got me on that. This K rule going for a back air cheese, trying to really make sure that finishes. Oh my goodness.
Lord. A great reflect from AJ, and we'll see if he can put the stock away. Now K rule up to 150%, but a very heavy character with a great recovery. If you're going to finish him, you have to finish him in one hit. Right. So we'll see if AJ can find that one hit, but you can't deny that the pressure's probably mounting, right? I'm sure if you're AJ, the last series is still in your head. If nothing else, a little bit, and we'll see if this forward air is enough to put it away, and it is. AJ will be able to find the final stock off that King K rule, and we go into ETSU's third player.
Right. And now the last time we were in this situation, they sent out Ken.
Yes.
And I do think if we're going to see Ken, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him now. The only argument that I could feel against it is not one, again, it is a one stock differential at this point. And because of that, do you keep the Ken in the back and hope that, assuming it's the Lucas, throw in the Lucas and say, can you take 4? Like, we need Ken to have as much as he can going into the Pac-Man. Yeah. It could be all over the place with that. So in my mind, I think you do send in Lucas first, followed by the Ken. But Ken could be feeling good.
Yeah, and something that I said a lot in the last series, because I'm a man of phrases and catchphrases. I say a lot of things. Was Ken came out to kind of put out the fire, right?
Right.
SU was hotter than I'm sure any of us and ETSU could have ever seen coming. Mm-hmm. The fire right now is not as hot. Right. Like, AJ
it's there.
Did a great job to close out that stock. But King K rule took a lot of momentum back in those 2 stocks off of AJ as well. And all of a sudden, this is a 1-stock game, right? SU came out swinging just like they did in game 1. ETSU was kind of already able to respond before it got too bad.
Right.
Now, granted, stock advantage and player advantage still in favor of SU, right? And if you send out the Ken right now, you go back to the dilemma of, well, SU has their response trump card, right? Do you risk putting our biggest threat on an island right now and say, hey, take this one stock without losing too much? It's scary, and I don't know what they do. I don't, like, you say they put out Ken, but I don't think that makes much sense.
Yeah, that's reasonable. I think you could go either way, because you make a great point of, again, that matter of, can we afford to send him in, or do we take the gamble on this Lucas player who, admittedly, again, we haven't seen much play time of, but is, from what we saw, very strong fundamentally. Like, it's very, like, I understand Lucas game plan. We're going to play Lucas game plan and go from there.
Yeah.
So as we go into this, it is the man of the hour
stand corrected.
versus the Falco. So now, we are on small battlefield. Small battlefield has a slightly lower ceiling. And we have seen the Shoryukens come out a lot. It's going to be on AJ to just take what he can, but also, if you need to sit away from this Ken and give him the respect he deserves, by all means, because look at this advantage state right now. Yes, I mean, AJ doing a great job of putting up the pressure, but now it's on the other foot. And that is the name of this matchup, is do you know your ways out of a Ken advantage state? And admittedly, I am not the person to ask that. Take it from the guy who plays the heavyweights, right? I'm the one who gets thrown around.
You just eat it.
Yeah. But at the same time, Ken going for the down smash, unable to have it connect. AJ keeping up the pressure and is really looking for this final option. We do see there's the Shoryu. Holds his shield down, gets the grab follow-up. Ken able to DI so that the laser doesn't connect. That's one hit, but Ken, again, doesn't go for the Shoryu right away. Falco able to make it back onto the stage, and again, sort of sitting back, understanding that the way this game ends is with Ken going all in on a Shoryuken. Oh my goodness, the down tilt sent him so far up, as now, while Ken is alive, he's the one who's feeling the pressure. Again, he's down low on the stage. He's able to beat the Shoryuken with a very well-spaced up tilt, and now Ken going for the focus attack to get back onto the lower part of the stage. Goes for the 2 down tilts. Will that be enough? It is. That was wild.
Man, and it felt just like the first time we saw this Ken too, right? They came out and almost looked nervous or just like uncomfortable, if nothing else, right?
Yeah.
A lot of just like missed kill confirms and like opportunities to kill. Granted, not as much as we saw last time, but, you know, way too many slip-ups. If your only job is to go out and take one stock and you're up at 170%, that was scary. But we can talk about ifs, ands, or buts, whatever. But ultimately, he did his job.
Right.
He took the one stock without losing one of his own. No matter how close it was, these stocks go back to 0% at the beginning of every game.
Yes.
So, fresh slate for ETSU. We are at 6-6. And Kevin, you know what's coming. Do we send Kid?
Do we send in the Pac-Man? That is the ultimate question. I do not know how to feel.
I don't know either.
Because okay, again, we've been talking about on one hand, on the other, on this side of the coin, on that side of the coin. I'm going to say it again. This is where it is. Because you have Igloo, who went into this Ken earlier and had a strong performance, but not the finisher.
Right.
And then you have Kip, who was sent in first, had all this pressure, and who we've been talking about this entire time is SU's trump card. This is why you wanted to win that first battle. This is why you show, like, you were the ones with your hands concealed and played the cards as they were dealt to you. This is the match, arguably, that is going to really determine whether or not this crew battle favors the side of ETSU or Shenandoah.
And here we are. We will see the clash of the titans, as you referred to it as. I said as twice there, didn't I?
Yeah, you're fine.
No, we have Kip against this Ken player from ETSU who put up so many kills in the first game. Kip, who put up so many kills of his own in the first game. These two incredible players for both teams now get to duke it out for the first time. But we will see Ken all the way up at 100%, and just like that, Pac-Man finds himself at 100%, and we have a very close game.
Yes, but I do want to acknowledge the start of this game is playing to Kip's favor at the moment, because we saw that Ken's pressure game, while good, was unable to really find the spot once Pac-Man has his setup going. At the same time, once Ken finds his in, it is so much pressure, and because of that, as we see a couple of good hits, but trying to go for a little bit too much, as Pac-Man is able to knock him away, it's going to be on Kip to really keep this going. The clank of the fire hydrant able to send Ken off stage. There's the bell, and the stocks are even. This game is not going to be one-sided, Chris. It's going to be close. And so it's going to be on Kip to, once again, keep this space, get the hydrant set up, and say, I do not want anything with that fighting game character. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and something I'm dying to see, too, something we haven't seen since the first series, early in the first series, is these Pac-Man setups, right? We saw it twice to finish that stock. That's, I think, going to be the ticket, right? That's how you take this Ken out. You need to make him uncomfortable, as we've seen that has worked.
Oh my goodness.
See those types of strings, right? These guarantees that he just doesn't see coming. And we'll see the bell keep coming out, right? As that's how most of these will end, with a stun into a smash attack. And we'll see as this one starts with a throw, but Ken able to make it back on stage, and there it is. A stun into a smash attack will do the trick. Can he find one more? And if you're Ken, you need 2 more just to keep this game even.
Oh, he doesn't have a jump. Oh, he is able to make it back. The Tatsumaki bailing him out. But once again, look at this Pac-Man pressure. You have to respect the setup, and when you don't know how to get in against this character, you're playing a whole different game. And Pac-Man, Kip is okay with that, as one smash attack will send Ken off stage but will not close it. Another bell is thrown out. Ken jumping up and using the focus attack, but again, hydrant set up left and right, and that's applying so much pressure, because while he calls out the roll-in with a side B, we do see another fire hydrant connect. 10 at 150, one good key, does not take it. 10 at 171, a bell drop, an up air, it's still not enough, but just about anything will take it. A nice apple, perhaps, clanks with the Ken down tilt, and now a strawberry thrown out. Pac-Man just keeping up the pressure, but a good Shoryuken will close that out. And again, a nice apple a day knocks Ken up to the top blast zone. And we just witnessed why you saved the Pac-Man for the Ken.
I refuse to believe that that's how that game just ended. That was incredible. That was high-level Smash Bros. That we all just got to witness. You know, say your thanks or whatever. But no, that was great. And I mean, great job from both players. I gotta calm down.
You're fine.
Ken find himself all the way up at 200% before he was able to take even a second stock off Pac-Man.
Right.
That felt in full control on the side of Shenandoah. But that one stock is a big deal.
Yes.
Right? That sends Kip into this last player with only one stock. Now, granted, Kip went on this tear last game, and I'm confident that that is in the minds of every ETSU player of like, okay, we got to get through this Pac-Man now.
Right.
Without the Ken that did it last time. But he's only got one stock. We'll see. It shouldn't be terrible. Yeah. But to say that Kip does not have the potential to just 3-stock and close this and send us to Game 3 is simply illogical.
Right. And I do want to acknowledge, when it comes to a crew battle, we talk about the importance of stocks, because stocks are your lifeline. Stocks are the time you have to adapt. It's not the in-game timer. It is your life. on the line. And so when you have the ability to hold on to stocks like that for that long, there are not a lot of characters that are supposed to live to that point. And I don't think Ken is one of them. But if you play to your strengths, if you understand that, and really take a step back and say, I can play to this, I think that's what's going to set this series going forward, is it's going to be on the players now who have gotten the chance to play, not focusing beyond the Ken Pac-Man matchup. It's going to be on the other players to say, how do I hold on to these stocks for longer? Because we've seen both Ken and Pac-Man do a really good job of holding down the fort and really keep that momentum in their favor and play a slow game. A lot of the other characters we've seen can do that, but it's on these players to really lock that in. But with all of that being said, I am excited to see. Again, we assume the Lucas player was the one.
Oh, yeah.
Who
We don't even know who this is.
Yeah. It could be anyone under the sun. We could see an Incineroar for all I know.
Oh, wow. That totally escaped my mind, and I was the one to bring that up. But we have just been assuming that K. Rool was a replacement to Shulk, whether it's the same player or a sub, who knows. But we should be getting into our final game here pretty soon. We will learn. But whether this is a NES or somebody else,
Whoa.
it's certainly somebody else.
Yeah. Okay, this is interesting. On the topic of playing to your strengths, Falco is another kind of character who is, well, I mean, we've seen it, right? It's very combo-based. You play to your game plan. Nice little Heihachi from the Pack God. But when it comes to this game plan, this series, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out as Pac-Man gets a great string across the side of the stage, got the bell thrown out, goes for the forward smash. Falco not hit by it, using the ledge invincibility for the maximum allotted time. As a good forward smash, that hits while he's going for the ledge. And because of that, now Kip is the one with a very strong start to this battle. At this point, I'm feeling good. But at the same time, Falco's the kind of character who, again, is the I have my combo-based game plan type deal. And because of that, there are certain moves, certain safe moves, like that up tilt, that are going to be the ones that close out these stocks. It's going to be on Kip to find his opportunity to either get Falco to come up to him or call him out like that. I mean, it's playing out exactly how you would want it, but a good back air call out from the Falco jumping up as high as he can does close that out, as now it is 3 stocks to 2 with ETSU like trying to claw it back.
Wow.
Yeah.
At that could have gone better if you're ETSU, but again, at the end of the day, you had a job to do and you did it.
Right.
You will. This Falco player will now match up against presumably Yoshi.
My boy Yoshi.
With one already on strike one, right? And will it matter? We'll see. We didn't get to see a ton of Igloo on Yoshi last series because when Igloo came out, was when Ken was at his prime, was at his hottest. So we will see. Can Igloo shake those nerves off or get that out of your head, or will this Falco be able to run away with the game?
I have faith in the Yoshi. I've always had faith in the Yoshi.
But we're biased.
Yes, we are. Here's the thing. When it comes to a Yoshi-Falco matchup, it is once again Falco. You're playing around Falco's game plan. Yoshi has options. He has the opportunity to really play how he wants, but you have to respect when a character has such a solid game plan like Falco, you have to respect certain options. And so because of that, it's going to be on Igloo to say, maybe some of my go-to options, they might not be the answer. I might just have to say farewell to certain options, but we will see as we go into this. It's on Igloo to really decide, how do I deal with this bird?
Yes. Only one way to find out, and it's to play the game out. This could be it. Will we be going to Game 3, or will ETSU be able to put Shenandoah away and go 1-0 on the season to start this semester? Igloo against the world to save what could potentially be a Game 3. We will see. But Falco down a stock to start and down almost 90%.
I am loving what I'm seeing so far because this is exactly what you want to see. Yoshi has a very good space game where you're able to sort of dance around and wait for your opponent. And again, ETSU is the one who needs to make up stocks at this point. So when Falco makes a mistake close to Yoshi is where we see the full value, such as there, as one good neutral special racks up another 30%. Falco going for the down special to cancel out the Yoshi up smash, but just about anything will take the stock here, like one good bicycle kick to the face. And now ETSU is on their last stock for this. It is a matter of, can the players close this out? Igloo keeping up the pressure already, but getting a little too close. Able to get the sour spot off of that Falco, but the forward air covering the air dodge is able to close out that stock. SU still up 2 stocks to 1, but look again at how Igloo is playing this. He's playing patient, he's sitting back, he's respecting the Falco as you need to, but at the same time, it is going to be on him. Once the Falco goes for his option, we see the glory of this punish game. Yoshi going off for the nair, Falco going off just as well, but able to re-grab the ledge and able to make it back. Yoshi sent onto the platform, Falco going for these up tilts, getting more, and the 70%, about 80, goes for the jab reset. And Yoshi is able to make it back onto the stage. He's going for the up smash now. Gets a good parry, unable to get the follow-up, but we do see, again, this is the game plan. Sit back, show the respect, and don't mess with that bird. As now, the pressure game is on. Falco feeling it and having to do another up smash out of the blue, and Igloo says, "You are not getting that on me." This is how we close this out and bring this series to a 1-1. The Yosh finishes it strong.
We are going to Game 3, baby.
Hey, buddy.
Shenandoah able to bounce back from what was a very scary loss in the first series, but through multiple moments of hope in that first series, they are able to adapt and find a win in Game 2, Series 2, and we are headed to a third and final series. Kevin?
Chris?
What's going on?
I love what we just saw.
I do too.
Because the players went, we saw the first crew battle, and we saw that it was, everyone was feeling good. We saw who's feeling hot. We saw who's on their A game. And then we had this realization of like, okay, they have players that we need to be respecting. They have players who we can't just be throwing out willy-nilly. And so because of that, we go into this game. Again, SU adapts. And because of that, now they come up with a strategy, say, we need to hold on to this. We saw the value that Pac-Man had, and we think that he can do well against Ken, even though there wasn't much time shown in the first crew battle. You got to take that prayer. They make that bet, and it pays off. And because of that, the rest of the crew is able to say, let's send us in and play the other. Let's see what else they have going on. Really start swinging at them, keep up the pressure, and they showed. They showed why you need to respect all of these SU players.
They certainly did, and we knew this would be a close series from the start. And sure enough, we find ourselves with an even matchup, 1-1, headed to Game 3. Now, SU was in the disadvantage after the first series, right? And we talked about how much SU needs to adapt. Going into this third series, I don't think it makes any sense for SU to change a thing.
I agree.
And I think we walked through a lot of the logic on that. But if you're ETSU, I almost want to say it doesn't make sense to change anything either.
That's the hard bit. On the one, are we doing this again? I'm doing this again. On the one hand,
let's do it. Let's break it down. Give me two sides.
Have the option to keep Ken in the back again. And you could say, if Ken is confident that he can beat this Pac-Man, or that they can get a stronger opening, and then they send in who they want to answer Pac-Man, that's that whole sphere. On the other side, you could send Ken in first, assuming that SU is going to save Pac-Man for the Ken, and have him come out the gate swinging, trying to set up an early lead and get a response, with faith that the rest of ETSU's players can respond to whatever comes after the Pac-Man. There's a whole metagame to this.
Yeah, we've talked ad nauseum about how many different strategies could be employed, and at the end of the day, all we're doing here is speculating, right? It's totally up to these people you see behind me to make these decisions, as well as ETSU to make their own decisions. But as we prepare to head into Game 3, we are going to take a quick 3-minute break. So don't go anywhere. We will be back for what will be the last game of this series. See you there. Welcome back to the Shenandoah Esports Arena in Winchester, Virginia. My name is Chris Clayton. I'm joined by my brother, Kevin Clayton, the Smash genius in the room. And we are headed to a Game 3 in this series between Shenandoah University and Eastern Tennessee State University.
Yes.
Kevin, do you want to walk us through how we got here?
Yes. So at the start of this, for those of you just joining, the first crew battle was a very unique case where two superstar players were thrown in at separate times and managed to take a lot of stocks. and earned a lot of respect from both sides, with ETSU being able to take it away. We move into the second crew battle, and both teams show respect. They say, we respect your Pac-Man, we respect your Ken, and because of that, what you have to do is you have to keep them in the back. They send in 2 other players in first, and SU takes the lead to start. With that, the momentum is in SU's favor as it starts to snowball a little bit for SU, and then they send in the Ken to answer. The Ken, again, brings it back even, when suddenly the Pac-Man returns. And we see the battle that we wanted to see. That is the matchup that really hinged this crew battle, whether or not SU came back or not. Kip walks away with it, and then gets taken out where the crew battle starts to even out, and then Igloo is the one who finishes it off. All of this to say, we are 1-1. There is a whole lot of metagaming going on right now, and because of that, I want to see what in the world these people have planned.
Yes, we saw a lot of different sides of coins,
Yes.
a lot of different analogies,
2 hands.
a lot of different catchphrases through the last hour and 40 minutes.
There you go.
But man, have we seen some great Smash Bros. Through it too. And I fully expect to see plenty more. But enough about the past.
Right.
Let's talk about what we're about to watch. I said before the break that I almost expect nothing to change. You said that that could be true. It could not be true.
Right.
And I guess that is...
It's a call-out.
Yeah.
It's right now the momentum is on Shenandoah. It's do you call it out? But as we go into this game, we see the return of a familiar face. The Shulk player from the first crew battle who we didn't see during the second. Or at the very least, not playing Shulk. With that being said, as we go into this, it's a Wolf v Shulk matchup. This is a strange one, because again, we talk about sorties, we talk about the space they cover, everybody gets that. Wolf has good enough options to cover a surprisingly similar amount of space, and because of that, with Wolf's mobility, it's going to be on him to see, can he close these outs while dealing with Monado arts? As the smash art comes out and the Shulk immediately going for the forward smash, trying to call out an early stock, but instead gets knocked off stage and is now having to dance and feel the pressure of a Wolf on the ground, because I can tell you, when you're playing against the Wolf, there's nothing more frightening than when he can really rack up this percent. But speaking of, Shulk in the Buster art is really beginning to keep that pressure up, and because of that, we do see, oh my god, one strong back air into the face, and so because of that, now Nimstafa's the one with the lead. Smash art coming out from Shulk, trying to close out this stock, but Nimstafa just kind of dancing around. He's saying, I don't need to get close to you while you have that active. You kidding me?
Yeah, and you raise a great point, right? We don't even...
My scoop.
Yeah, talk about a scoop, but... You raise a great point. We don't even know if we had the opportunity to watch this player last series. As last time, at least this player was playing Shulk, they kind of got cheesed 2 times in a row by a fire hydrant that is now not in this match.
Right.
The problem is off the table. So, as we see a relatively even game, at least a couple seconds ago, now find itself with Shulk at 85%. We'll see if this Shulk now able to play a full game, presumably without getting cheesed, although I certainly don't want to jinx it. But Shulk now with a speed, Monado looking for potentially just more combos, right? You're not going to find a kill combo onto a Wolf at 30%, but just like that, Shulk is up to 109, and Wolf certainly can find a kill combo at 109. So we will see. And shield poke will not be enough, but now Shulk able to string some combos together, switching to a smash Monado and swiftly changing his mind as we now see him fly around the map with the speed Monado. And a swift up B will not do it. Nipstafa able to find the recovery.
Yes, and that was very good on Nimstafa, not having the double jump, but able to space it back, using the Wolf Flash, getting back onto the stage. Cloud switching to the Smash Art and then getting hit. That Nair wouldn't have taken that stock, but when Shulk is in Smash Art, he also takes increased knockback. So suddenly, this game is looking real nice for the Wolf, as now we do see Jump Monado knocked out, Buster coming out. This is where both sides will deal more damage, and the knockback is slightly reduced on some of Shulk's moves, but it doesn't really matter when you're dealing so much. But Wolf able to dodge it and is able to get a good hit in. Switching to the shield art. Here's the thing about shield. You take reduced damage, you take reduced knockback, but reduced knockback is not always your friend, as suddenly a lot of combo opportunities present themselves. But Smash Art, for just a split second, goes for the back throw and is able to take that stock, as now Shulk is at 100, is feeling the pressure. The Jump Monado is out. He has to up back to the stage, is able to grab the ledge, switches to the Buster, trying to all in, and does get the down air, but is sent off stage once again. Wolf going off stage, trying to nair him, trying to get a little bit more pressure. Oh, Wolf doesn't have a double jump.
Okay.
Oh, he does make it back. Cloud having to grab the ledge. Shulk going for that. Gets the back throw. You can't switch out of that Monado art while you're in the middle of a Wolf's Fist. That closes it out. And now, Shenandoah once again has the lead to start the crew battle.
For the third series in a row, we find Shenandoah, yes, finding the first game, taking the first game, and going into the series with that advantage, right? We've talked extensively in all three of these, or well, the two previous series, and we're about to again, about how important it is to win that first series for the sake of maintaining your heavy hitters, right? Now, Shenandoah finds himself with an advantage once again. It didn't work out the first time. They made adaptations, and it worked out the second time. So we'll see. Do you send King K. Rool out a second time?
No, but I could be a liar. If they want to, if they think that that matchup could go incredibly differently, I am all for it. Or, frankly, Nimstafa's at one stock. You are allowed to ego check and say, I think I can take this stock easily. But
that's exactly what they did last game, right? That was where the King K. Rool came out. What I assumed to be a moment of, hey, I can go out and take one stock. Worst case scenario, I lose one, and we go into the next series with me feeling good on my King K. Rool. But then before you know it, that was almost the most gorgeous 3-stock we've seen tonight. And we've seen a couple of 3-stocks tonight. So you kind of have to be careful. Nobody's forgot that happened. Everybody had a moment of, who is that? And so everybody remembers that King K. Rool was sent out. Everybody knows, I guess what we don't know is whether that was just the Shulk that we just watched or some other sub player that
Lucas
we just
or
didn't
some
see.
Random person.
Exactly. Could be anybody. Could be you, for all we know.
Yeah.
But
I'm incredibly skilled at playing without you seeing my hands.
Whoa. I don't know. I would be shocked if we see King K. Rool come out again. I think they went for an aggressive move that could have paid off, very much did not. I don't think you take the same risk 2 times in a row, knowing that this is the same player, probably anticipating that you screw up a second time.
Yes. So with that, let's knock that option out. I don't think you send in the Ken now either.
I agree. And I think, I just think your Ken is too valuable. Like, we've talked so much. Again, a lot of this is going to become repetitive if you've been around all night, because the strategy doesn't change a ton. It's all trying to predict what your enemy's thinking, and there's only so much we can do. But your Ken is way too valuable, and I think you need to be saving that until we see the Pac-Man, because now we know that the Pac-Man can win, and frankly, pretty soundly. Like, that was he almost had 2 stocks walking out of that game. So I think, unless you think you have a better shot at Pac-Man with someone else, and maybe they do, I don't think it's worth risking Ken now to go in and take 1 stock when, once again, for those of you who are around in Game 1, the fire's not hot enough.
Right. So with all of that being said, I do think there's respect to sending in either the Lucas or the Mario. Because when we saw Crew Battle number 2, the starters were Nimstafa and Mario. And both of them were relatively evenly matched. both going for their strings, giving each other the respect that they deserve, and wouldn't you know it, we're going to see it again. Because it's going to be, it's the most respect, but also I think I can bring this back sort of pick you can choose. Because they were so evenly matched, it's a coin toss on does, who gets the stock first, basically. Can Mustafa create this lead fast enough and really dance around this Mario and create this lead and get an extra stock, get that extra credit? Or is this Mario going to have his combo game and really drive this home? As we do see right off the rip, Mustafa holding no punches and saying, I remember your game plan from last time. We ain't going to have to do this song and dance again. Let me show you what I learned. And so with that,
in the first like 15 seconds of this fight, we saw like 3 smash attacks come out from Wolf. That was insane. But Mario was throwing these heavy punches back too, as now we find Wolf with an advantage. Mario able to recover a bit higher than usual. But yeah, I mean, Wolf coming out swinging, right? Throwing 2 forward smashes and an up smash in the first 15 seconds of this fight. We are certainly not holding any punches. Wolf wants that stock and he will get it.
One quick, swift kick to the face, and suddenly SU has gotten the extra credit that they wanted on Mustafa. 1 extra stock to go, please, as now he's looking for just a little bit more. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see, again, a lot of aggressive play from Mustafa the moment he has center stage, because he wants that survivability. We talked about it, but when it comes to it, as we do see Mustafa going for a couple more aggressive options, Mario saying, I still have my great options out of shield, hits him with 1 good headbutt, and that is it.
Yeah, I mean, like, you said it perfectly, right? We saw Mustafa get back into mid-stage and start to play aggressive, but ultimately you're at 140% already. Aggressive playstyle will eventually bite you in the butt. Right. And so, you know, 1 up smash later and he's dead. But I loved what we saw. You said it, the extra credit is a huge deal. Right, for maintaining this momentum, going into our second player, who we assume to probably be AJ again. Right?
If I had to bet, it is probably AJ. Because you've got 2 combo-based characters, and if I had to bet, Mario is keeping high ceiling stages open. Or, my apologies, low ceiling stages, high platforms open. Well, you have Mario who loves that, and you have Falco who loves that.
That's true.
So it would be sort of a respect type deal of like, sure, ban these stages that have close blast zones on the side or don't have a lot of platforms, because we have a character who loves that too. And so it's like, that is what I think will come through. Now, do you leave Battlefield open anticipating that? Like, it's up to you. It's truly up to comfort at this point, and I will say it till the day I die, what you are comfortable with. Your comfort character, your comfort game plan, your comfort strategy, whatever you want to call it. This game's been out for a long time. You got some strategies hidden in your back pocket. Let them loose.
Yeah, so you raise an interesting point, and just like a topic that we haven't gotten the opportunity to talk about. When it comes to picking and banning stages, how does that work? Does the loser get priority, or does it alternate?
So whoever wins bans 2 stages off of a list of legal stages. And then whoever is sent in gets to choose what remains. Generally, so that would mean that our player would have priority on who or what stage is chosen.
Yeah.
It's up to the Mario to then ban out. Like, I don't want to be fighting on Pokemon Stadium and Final Destination. I don't want to play on a stage that doesn't have platforms. But as we move into this game, sure enough, there it is, AJ versus ETSU's Mario. And as we get into this, Mario going off for that 1 stock, and now going for the small battlefield, not opting for the full one. Let's acknowledge that. The option was there, but they said no, sir. And now Falco just sort of spacing it out, saying if Mario's going to approach, he has to approach me. as we do see a couple of aerials thrown out, trying to really get this Mario to walk into him. There it is. One good miss tech, keeping the combo going for a down air follow-up to really optimize on this combo, as we do see a couple of more good hits. Mario really racking up this percent, or taking a lot of percent, excuse me, as now we do see both players sort of sitting back a little bit.
Yeah, keeping distance between each other is important, right? We've talked quite a bit about getting a download on your opponent. As we will see AJ find an important forward air, but not able to capitalize on it, as Mario looks for his own forward air, but also is not able to capitalize on it. But getting a read on your opponent, and an opportunity to really understand how they're going to play, right? We have not seen these two individuals play against each other yet, I don't believe.
Yes.
So this is still their time to learn the person across the line. And now as the game develops, we see a little bit more aggression and a lot more gap closing from both sides.
Right, as we do see Mario trying to close out the stock with the forward smash. The shield poke, letting go just a little early against the Falco forward air. It has a landing hitbox, you have to respect it. As Falco going for the dash attack does eat an up smash, but with all that being said, one good up air, goes for the follow-up, is unable to get it, keeps going for the up tilts, gets another back air, and that will close it. As one stock for one stock, you handshake and you continue playing.
We play on 0-0 now. Although, SU does have a notably one stock advantage in the entire series. So, not truly 0-0, but for the sake of this fighting game, both players, we would hope, are going into this as an even matchup, but it's certainly not even when Mario is able to find trains like that. Up air strings off of these platforms you talked so much about, and what could have potentially been worse had this been a normal Battlefield.
Right, absolutely. And so with that, we do see AJ saying, I'm not going to approach you. You're the one who still has to approach me. I will sit back and relax until you try to get close. And that's, again, welcome to Ultimate. That's how you play this game, is if you have the lead, you are allowed to sit back and say, you need to fight me, get over here. And then adapt to your game.
Wow.
Whoa. A very unique way to get Falco onto the stage, going for a flood into the forward smash, knocking Falco up instead of letting him grab the ledge. A very unique interaction.
Yeah, almost stuffing Falco at the ledge. Like, you know, interrupting his blink and placing him right in front of Mario's fist. A great play and not one that I could have seen coming.
Yeah, now look, we could see AJ opting not to go off stage. He says, I'm not risking any sort of reversal. I'm saying right here and calling you out. You have to come to me. And sure enough, as Mario decides, yeah, you know what? I will try to get close. 2 bird talons to the face. Jumped.
Boom. Yeah, great play from AJ. Great play from that Mario, too. Some interesting moments. But like we said, I mean, like, these are very evenly matched teams. Both of these players and all of these players are going to have opportunities to really get a read on their opponent. And sometimes it's one-sided, and sometimes you get games like that.
Yeah.
So, all that being said, long-winded way of saying we're right back to where we started. SU has the advantage by 1 stock, and here comes Ken, question mark?
That's what I'm thinking. But before we dive too much into that, I just want to make a quick side tangent here. When I joined the team, I joined around the same time as AJ. And so seeing him perform like that makes my night. I'm so happy for him.
Shout out, AJ.
But with all that being said, the gushy stuff over. It's most likely we will see the Ken player. I wouldn't expect the Lucas. I wouldn't expect K-Rool.
Yeah.
Because AJ took a stock off of the K-Rool. Like, it's not like K-Rool came in and was like, I got exactly what I need to get something off. Don't get me wrong. I love that character. Believe me, I do. If I want to see K-Rool,
I can attest.
I want to see K-Rool. But that is bias on my end. If you're going to play and your goal is knock down AJ and then whoever's sent in next, it's a matter of, like, it's probably not going to be the Croc.
No, I agree. I do think that the Ken makes the most sense. We've seen, because right now you need someone to go on a 4-stock run.
Yes.
Is the answer, right? If we can break it down as much as we want, but at its core, you need someone to go on a 4-stock run. You need someone to outperform their own standards. Now, we've seen Ken do that. We've seen Pac-Man do that. We've seen other players do that, I'm sure. But, I mean, like, notably, there have been 2 players that have well outperformed their own standards. So, if you need to count on one guy to go out and get the job done, historically, and granted, historically means based on the last 2 hours,
Right.
that player has been Ken. And I think the answer for ETSU has to be Ken. I don't know that it has to be, but I think it should be. I think that's ETSU's best shot. But, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, and so with all of that being said, assuming Ken is sent in next, I think we will see this clash of AJ and Ken where it's not going to be as one-sided as you would think with how this Ken has been performing, because AJ has has taken stocks every time when it's supposed to. Like, it's not these awkward situations where people are holding on to stocks for a really long time. If you're playing against Falco, AJ will find a way to get you up into the air and then kick you. That is, like, so we've seen where this Ken has incredible survivability, has done a really good job of improving his DI, has been living at crazy percentages. There are certain characters where if you get hit with the right starting move, there ain't much you can do.
Yeah,
So,
and we've seen this Ken come out and struggle, like, to settle in. So we'll see, but we are wrong, Kevin Clayton, my brother Kevin.
That's not fun.
We have been talking about the wrong character this whole time. So ETSU surprises us, and what I'm sure probably surprised SU as well. And maybe that's a play, but only one way to find out. We now have Lucas against Falco with a 1-stock advantage in favor of SU.
Yes. Now, the way that this matchup is going to go is, while AJ does have the stock lead, it is more likely that AJ is going to have to be the one approaching throughout this match, because Lucas has a very good option while he's away, not only through the PK Fire and the PK Freeze, but with the Psy Magnet. If I am correct, it should eat the laser and allow him to regen.
I would think so.
As we do see, that won't stop you from throwing it out on occasion, because the heal isn't going to be a lot. The laser doesn't do much damage. It's a nice little bit of added percent to just keep your opponent from really, like, sitting away, like, keeping the pressure up. So, with all that being said, we do see both players sort of sitting back a little bit, but AJ feeling like the one to have to approach. Lucas trying to punish him getting back on the stage, getting the roll-in call. Lucas creating space once again, going for another PK Fire. Gets another one, but is reflected right back in his face. Said, I don't want to deal with your PK Fire. Here, take it back. Going for a roll read in. Doesn't get it. Another PK Fire. Falco off stage. Falls out of the PK Thunder. Oh my goodness, that could have been detrimental for the side of AJ. But just about one good up tilt will probably close the stock, or a good back throw getting the Lucas off stage. Goes for the tether, is able to make it back onto the stage, gets the shield poke, and there's that Psy Magnet. It does in fact eat the laser. Falco goes for the forward throw. It won't take stocks, but it does keep Lucas on his toes. It keeps him off of this stage as he jumps over the grab and is able to take another stock. And the PK Fire from platform, even though it takes the stock, AJ got his credit. He took his 3, and that's exactly what you need at this point.
That's great.
Yeah.
If you're SU, you take that. You take that 100%. You don't care how fast he lasts that last stock. That's huge. Because, again, we find ourselves saying advantage SU after every single one of those games. And these stocks are your lifeline. I don't know how many times I'm going to say it. We've said it a lot. But, I mean, these stocks are how you play. They're how you win. They're how you adapt. They're how you survive. And in any situation where you're able to take more than you're expected is invaluable to a team's success. So AJ, able, as you said, growing as a player long term, who we've been able to, on this side of the desk, watch grow over the years, finds a very huge stock for the SU team.
And he played that incredibly well.
He
when
did.
you're both at that percent, the pressure's on. You're feeling it. And so for him to get hit by the tether and say, like, I think I know what they're going to go for, jumps up and says, come closer to me. Sure enough, Lucas tries to get the follow-up and immediately gets kicked in the face, as we said before, as now we send in Igloo against this Lucas player, and the percent is already starting to rack up.
Yes, and we kind of understand what is happening, or we kind of called what's happening in front of us. We're saving the kip for Ken, right? This will likely end with the matchup we have hyped up so much. There's no reason to send out Pac-Man against someone not named Ken. But I'm going to stop talking about who's not on our screens and talk about who is. We have a crazy start to this game that I've been talking over. Lucas finds himself at 120% and he will be dead already. And he's down to 1 stock while Igloo's sitting at a very comfortable 45%.
Yes, and I mean, Yoshi, look at this pressure. Igloo coming out of the gate swinging, saying, I think I have an idea what this Lucas wants from the little bit of gameplay we've seen. And sure enough, immediately racks up the pressure. Says, I'm not giving you any space to get your game plan off. You're going to have to deal with Yoshi, baby. And so with that, we do see, as when there's space, Yoshi respecting it, but Lucas throwing out an up smash, and Igloo saying, no, you're not allowed to get that off without taking at least 32%. So with that, Igloo keeping up the percentage lead, going for the follow-up, doesn't get it. Lucas able to get the air dodge off and is at the ledge with Lucas getting the center stage control, sitting in shield, gets the grab and throws Lucas off stage. Tries to forward smash him on the tether. Igloo is not here to play. Igloo wants this crew battle win and is going all in for it. So with that, we do see Lucas able to get the center stage control. PK Freeze coming out from the side of ETSU as now one more egg just sort of waiting, saying, Lucas, you got to come over to me. I don't got to mess with anything unless you're going to give me center stage, of course. Like, by all means. A good down air from the Lucas, able to space it out as now a couple of good tilts, able to get Igloo back onto the stage, goes onto the platform. Lucas tries to get a follow-up but is unable to capitalize as now Igloo is at 140. Just about anything will take Igloo stock, but at the same time, Igloo looking for these kill confirmed setups. The forward air into up air isn't going to be enough, but a good up smash trying to catch the landing, barely doesn't hit, goes off stage, tries to nair. Lucas doing a good job of drifting and staying in control. Igloo jumping over the PK Fire, saying, I don't want to deal with that, as now he has center stage. Lucas using the PK Fire to get close. Both players really dancing around each other. Look at the spacing from Igloo. I mean, both players really wanting to close this out, really wanting to get that extra stock, keeping up the pressure, and they make it back, but gets the forward air, and Igloo has 3 stocks, kept it alive, and there are 3 stocks going against this Ken player for the 3rd crew battle, SU versus ETSU.
This is where, okay, I'm going to take a moment and get on my soapbox. I'm a big sports guy, you know this.
Yeah.
In these pivotal situations, like, big-time players make big-time plays in big-time moments. That's a phrase that gets thrown around a lot. And this is, I say when I mean it, experience matters. Igloo is a veteran on this team. He understands this team better than any of us ever could. And he knows when he's got a job to do. That was magical to watch. So I'm so proud of our Yoshi player behind me here. I'm going to get off my soapbox now. But, I mean, like, gorgeous play. And I think the mental got to ETSU. I don't want to assume, but the moment that felt even slightly advantageous for SU outside of just, like, stocks, it felt like the Lucas just kind of crumbled. Like, there was no... All of a sudden, there was no threat of killing.
Yeah, there were options thrown out that, while, yes, take stocks are the kind of options that you throw out in desperation. We saw an up smash thrown out of the blue. That is a move that you normally see when you're calling out your opponent, not when they're at 150, because that move takes stocks incredibly early. If you're going to throw it out, you want to take it earlier. But at the same time, Igloo doing an amazing job. I talked about it earlier, people. Hold on to your stocks.
Yes.
Not in the market, but in Smash. Like, just hold on. And so with all of that being said, I do think, look at what we have going in as it, oh my goodness, a whole different ball game, as it isn't Ken, it's Ryu.
Yeah. Now, we assume this to be the same player, right?
I
A
agree.
fundamentally very similar playstyle, but not the same, and importantly, not the same. So we will see if Ryu is able to take 6 stocks in a row to keep ETSU's dreams alive. But if not, I mean, Yoshi's got this Ryu did already. And oh my lord, we have a 6-2 deficit for ETSU, and this could be over quickly as Igloo is finding these strings to bring Ryu up to 40% before he can even think about getting off that respawn platform.
Yeah, let's talk about this for a second. Ken is arguably a better character than Ryu, but they do play fundamentally the same. The major difference is that Ryu doesn't have multi-hits.
Correct.
And because of that, I wonder if ETSU's player, after so many combos that were dropped, said, I don't want to risk that. I can't risk that in this situation, and swapped to a character where if the hit's going to hit, you will take the full value.
That's a great point.
So with that being said, while you're sacrificing a little bit of options available, you do have these kill confirms that when you hit the first one, you're guaranteed the second. And so with that, the Ryu air dodging off stage is able to make it back to the ledge. We will see this sort of patient game plan. One good Yoshi Nair, he doesn't make that back.
Oh my lord, Igloo is playing lights out Smash Bros right now. He looks so calm and collected, comfortable going off stage for these super risky plays as a character that doesn't really have a recovery outside of a suck-in jump. It's a very gutsy move from Igloo, but again, this is the experience talking as he does fall out of a combo, and Ken or Ryu, doesn't matter, Igloo's gonna fall out of it.
Yeah. And he's doing a great job. The focus attack coming out, spacing it out, Ryu air dodging back to the ledge and shielding Yoshi, calling it out. One good forward air, calls out again, goes for the up smash, but it doesn't take the stock, just barely gets another forward air, knocks the Ryu off stage. He's able to Tatsumaki back onto the stage. Yoshi does make it back to the ledge. A couple of good up tilts. Yoshi air dodging back onto the stage, and Ryu going for a quick shoryuken to close at that one. While Ryu is at 130, this is the kind of character that you still need to respect. These fireballs dealing 15% of the time, and there ain't no cooldown. I am willing to sit here and throw these out. At this point, Igloo's the one who needs to get close. He ducked under it. He ducked under the fireball.
Wow. That was incredible play from Igloo there to get under the fireball, say, I don't care if you're going to run away from me. I will run directly under you and kick you up into space. Great, great awareness and execution from Igloo, and we don't even need to see our 4th player.
Oh my god.
Wow. SU puts it away in 3. What a comeback. What an adjustment from game 1, right? We saw SU come out and get such a lead and manage to lose it. ETSU having such a great run with that Ken that made this series so close. And SU made the adaptations they needed to and walk away with a win. Their first win of the season.
And I mean, talk about the first match of the season, showing your stuff, being proud of it, saying this is the plan. I understand that we went into game 1, we were feeling good, and suddenly the momentum swings. They said, no, I'm going to lock in. We're buckling up and we are going to town. We're not out of this yet. Let's show them what SU's all about. And again, we highlight the skill of all of these players. And I know we were talking about Pac-Man for the longest time because of the first crew battle. We just witnessed why we talk about everyone else being as skilled as they are is because when push comes to shove, any of these players, all of these players, perform immaculately, as we just saw Igloo do now.
Say it again for the people in the back. We've got a great roster here, very special roster here, and we've been talking about them for literally years now. As these players have grown and developed under previous stars, right? And have been able to learn from people ahead of them and go in and execute when they needed to. That was so much fun to watch.
Yes. And very well played from both sides.
Yes.
Both Eastern Tennessee had a superstar lineup and frankly had a lot of momentum going in, had a lot of great players, but at the same time, kudos to the players behind us, kudos to SU for really just saying, if we're going down, you gotta really try to take it. We're going down swinging, and sure enough, bringing it back.
Amen. Well, like I said, experience matters, and I think experience came out in the end and in a very flashy way. And so with that, we are almost going to wrap up here, but we're going to head to a quick break and come back with that experience I'm talking about. So don't go anywhere, and we'll be back with an interview with our favorite Yoshi player, Igloo.
That's my Yoshi.
Welcome back to the Shenandoah Esports Arena here in Winchester, Virginia. I am joined by Avery, Igloo, our hero of the night, our favorite Yoshi player here on campus. Avery, how are you feeling? That was incredible. Walk me through what's going through your head right now.
The first thing that comes to mind, Chris, is you called me the hero, but I got to say, Chris, the team pulled through tonight. And I don't say that just because it's a nice thing to say. The team pulled through tonight. I mean, you saw some incredible gameplay across the board. Kip taking those 7 stocks to start off the crew battle, and then, heading into, obviously, the rest of that crew battle was a little rough. But then, going into game 2, that's when the team really stepped it up. I mean, Nipstafa going crazy on that Wolf, able to take out that Shulk player who, Kip was able to really cheese at the hydrant in that first game. But once we saw what the Shulk was really made of, I was really impressed with how Alex was able to handle him. And then AJ as well on that Falco, really making everyone on the team proud. This is really his debut semester, really new to competing on a regular basis. So to see him come out tonight and play some incredible Smash Bros was amazing to see. That's what I'm feeling right now, Chris.
Amen. Yeah, and you said that so great. I want to talk to you a little bit. You touched on it. Shenandoah as a squad came out so hot in the first game.
They did.
I say as a squad, but there was one guy at the front of that. But unfortunately, that crew battle did not finish how I think we all expected it to after watching what Kip did. So walk us through some of the talks, what's going through everybody's head, and what did you guys decide to change going forward?
Crew battles are so volatile. Sometimes one player really can make all the difference. And in game 1 for us, it was Kip. For them, it was Owls, their Ken player. And, I mean, they both accomplished the same thing, right? They're just wiping through each other's teams. And I really think what that Ken did to us was similar to what Kip did to them, actually, where he really had this slow play style really down, where he would play slow, but then once you got into him, he would do massive amounts of damage, whereas Kip would stay away from you and, kill you with the bell really early. And if you're not used to Pac-Man, you're not going to know how to fight that. You're not used to Ken, you're going to die super early. Even if you are used to Ken, you're going to die super early. And, like, really, those players just playing so flashy, such great Smash Bros. I mean, if you don't change up the game plan versus those kind of players, they're not going to lose stocks to you. So it was really important for our coach, Abby, to take us outside and to go over some new strategy. And we did come up with new strategy, and that was that Kip and Owls had to have the King's battle, if you say that. And at the end of the day, Kip came out on top. And, if we were able to take out Owls with Kip, at the end, the rest of our squad was better than theirs, and that was the difference maker. Was we were holding Kip to take out Owls specifically, and I think that was the biggest difference maker among many other strategy differences like that I went into with the final match versus the Ken. But we were fully prepared for me to lose that match and for Kyle to clean it up, or for Kip to clean it up, because he was the game plan for that.
For sure, yeah, and Kip played great in the amount of time we got to see him. He was incredible, but at the end of the day, that game, you took that in your own hands.
I did.
You went on, what, a 5-stock tear at the end. What was going through your head in those moments?
Yeah, I mean, AJ coming off of taking that Lucas's first stock in a very last-hit scenario, that's what really, gave me the confidence going into that Lucas match. I knew that he was feeling the pressure. He knew if he beat me, then that would be huge for his team, and I knew if I beat him, that would be huge for my team. And so I just tried to play really fast. I tried to make the Lucas feel scared. And at the end of the day, that's what allowed me to take those 2 stocks. I think he was really feeling the pressure in those last hit scenarios, and I just told myself, I know what I can't get hit by, and it was about that evasion, which is what Yoshi's so good at, avoiding dying, and it's so big in crew battles. So, once I was able to take out that Lucas, then I'm sitting there one-on-one with the Ken, with Owls, who's I very much respect as a player. And I told myself, I have to play with similar confidence. I have to play very fast, or this guy's going to run away from me and throw the fireball the whole match, and I'm going to die in 2 combos, and that's going to be the match. And so I told myself I had to play with confidence, and honestly, I did that. I played with immense amounts of confidence. That was hard to say. And I just really tried to play really fast, keep him on his toes, because I knew that he knew that he had to make plays happen if he wanted to win that match with 2 stocks or 1 stock, because what he didn't want to do is go into the match with Kip with 1 stock. So I forced him to make plays, and I made sure to go for wild edge guards, make him feel the pressure. And at the end of the day, I think he did feel the pressure, and Kip wasn't needed.
There you go. Yeah, put it in your own hands, and very well done. Congratulations to you and the squad. But that will do it for us here at Shenandoah Esports. So thank you very much for watching. If you want to see more esports content, we will have Smash Bros. A week from today and every Thursday going forward. But if you want to see our other games, our other varsity teams compete, make sure to drop a follow, and you'll know when we go live with our other games at various other times of the week. But other than that, my name is Chris. This is Avery. Shout out to Kevin for the cast. And be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It could change their day, and we will see you next time.